appreciate and would like to thank each and every one of my wonderful patrons. Thank you. Mr. Sensible is proud that MAGE, the mission above globe Earth, has been sponsored by Bob the Science Guy and his channel, Common Sense Science. I'm also proud that MAGE is sponsored by Arctic Haze and his climate anomaly website. MAGE is now also kindly sponsored by Just Shoot Me, a Canberra-based rigging service for para and hang gliders, sailplane pilots and skydivers.
Mr. Sensible. Mr. Sensible. Mr. Sensible.
Guys, I hope everything's alright. My OBS totally locked up. Hold 5. Oh, there I am. Yeah, my OBS totally locked up. I don't know what was happening. I don't know what intros you saw and what intros you didn't see. I just had to knock it on the head on the fly. Hopefully I'm back for everyone. I know I've got sound because I can hear it. Nice one. Hello, Mighty Quinn, everyone. Good evening, my friends. Who we got? FE Peer Review, Doug Boitimbos. Hopefully I said that all right. Ziploc Mark, Chris Durham. It's a me, Mark Tin, NDH. Masses of people. Crispy Bacon. Yes, you can hear me. Don't lie, sir. The Turtle Moves, Christopher Bell. Q is in here. Good evening, Q. Tusk Arctic Haze. Thank you very much. I will replay the sponsor reel because I don't know how properly it played. Don't know what happened then. OBS just decided to throw a wobbly. Neil Sullivan, Vital Spark, Ivy Gentry, Isa, Brainless Steel NL, Mark Tin, and lots more. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to read out everyone. MAGE II is happening. I hope you all like that. Doesn't it look a beauty? And now with less weight and more equipment. Bit like me, really. That's not what Mrs. Sensible says anyway. I hope you're all okay. Hope you've had a good week. Yeah, MAGE. Actually, while I think of it, something topical first. Let me make sure I've got... Is it going to do this? Yes. The government has released the current coronavirus restrictions map, and I just thought I'd broadcast it to you for a few seconds because we all need to know where we stand in this day and age. Whether whether people appreciate that or not, I don't know. But I thought it really made me laugh. Never mind. That's me. Bit of sick humour anyway. I'll see what sort of feedback I got from that. The brown... We are safe. Oh, that looks... It is official. It's never mind. I hope that everyone's doing okay and no one's suffering with corona. Yes. So MAGE. We are on day 1 of the launch window, 13th to 26th October. Obviously, today it hasn't happened, but I just come off nights, so it didn't look as though it's going to happen anyway today. So myself and Q are keeping closely in touch to try and make sure we get a good date. Looking a number of days ahead. It looks like we might have found one. Certainly hope so, but that can change at the last minute. And like last time, I will not be telling people in advance when it happens. I will not be telling people when it is happening. I will tell them when it's done. I'll announce it on my Twitter feed, and which is it's Mr. Sensible, and I'll put it on the community page on the day after the launch is completed, and then start working on videos. That will be quite a task actually. Because I have to, even if I'm producing just a short video, I have to process the full-length videos to enable all the, why can I never think of the word? All the measurements. God, it's gone straight out of my head. oh, do you know, I can almost think of the word, but I can't. All the data about heights and stuff like that has to be processed to put on the video while it's full length. Then I can cut it down, and so it's going to be quite a big job, because last time with a shorter video, it took about 9 hours to do one set of processing, and I have to do several. And then, of course, I'll be redoing them for full-length, uncut flight videos for those who think I'm cheating. I see we've got Arctic Haze, one of the fine sponsors of MAGE. Thank you, Arctic. Thank you very much. Have I got that right again? Or have I got that wrong again? Hold on. What am I doing? Let's have a quick look. I made that mistake once before, didn't I? Now I'm doubting myself. So let's have a very quick look. Yeah, I'm right. Arctic Haze. Because there's the other one, isn't there? Arctic Reflections. And I got muddled up last time. Who's a silly Billy? So yeah, thank you, Arctic. Actually, I've not seen Bob the Science Guy around much lately. Last time I videoed him, last time I messaged him, I haven't had a reply. So I'm not sure what's happening. I hope he's okay. And now, of course, we've got the new sponsor as well, Just Shoot Me, which is the most fabulous name for a rigging company. Absolutely astounding. And as you saw on the premiere video, got Just Shoot Me's logo on the top, looking at all the rigging and the shoot. How appropriate is that? How appropriate. Arctic Roll. Oh gosh, I love that stuff, crispy bacon. I've had it for years. Arctic Roll. Yeah, so we got more equipment. We've got the new camera, which, as mentioned on there, has a slightly narrower field of view. So it really should be, and really hope that we don't get the wooden frame in. If we do, it's not the end of the world, because all we're worried about is getting nice reference frame lines. But we'll see. But 40 grams lighter, the new camera and power pack, which means we can get more height from the same size balloon. Nice one. That's a result. We could send up a flurf now, as long as you can find a flurf with an unladen weight of 40 grams of less. Send up a flurf brain, couldn't you? That's going to be under 40 grams. Definitely. Oh yeah, Bob's been doing the telescope stuff. Yes, I've not really been following that, but you're quite right. Was that colon? Yes, it was. Yeah, thank you, colon. Yeah, so we got the new camera. We've also got the barometer, so we can measure the atmospheric pressure. As I said on there, it's in pascals, but it's a simple conversion, so I'll just run that through the spreadsheet before I process telemetry. That's the blooming word. The telemetry data, and add it to the video. So I'll have it in atmospheres as well, which is more user-friendly, perhaps. Arwin looks fairly small. He might fit. We could put all of Arwin's subs in it, couldn't we? It must be, what, 4 years? Has he got 1,000 subs yet? Is he having another paddy? Yeah, so what was I saying? The barometer. So we're going to have the measurement in pascals. I'll convert it to atmospheres as well. And also temperature. So that should bust between the two of it, the temperature and the atmospheric pressure. That should bust Spurs Chemo, who said that the temperature drops but the pressure remains the same, up to 50 miles. And it's the temperature drop which causes the balloon to burst as it expands because of the cold, apparently. So, of course, we will see the temperature drop. But I guess once we get up to those sort of heights, the temperature will not be changing much. So what will make it suddenly decide to burst, if it's not the atmospheric pressure or lack thereof, your guess is as good as mine. I would like to see Spurs's explanation for it when we come to it. Sorry, what else we got? Scroll down a bit. Someone was asking, if the pressure remains the same, why does the balloon rise at all? Well, you'll have to ask for an explanation for that from Spurs, won't you? Relative density, I guess. Relative density. Isa is one of Arwin's subs. Do you know, perhaps we should get a whole bunch of people with agreement to all sub and then all unsub during a live stream. I see, thank you very much. I see we've got a super chat from Second Best Bob for £5. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, thanks, Bob. Not that Bob, this Bob, who's not the same Bob as Bob, but you know what I mean. Send up Globebusters Bob's brain. That would add no weight at all. Look, you're going to confuse us if it's Bob and Bob suggesting we use Bob's brain. This is all very confusing, Bob. Perhaps we should all... My wife's uncle's called Bob, so that gets confusing when people say Bob's your uncle. No, Bob's my wife's uncle. Yes, so what else have we got? We will be sending up cat biscuits. Someone commented last time about the huge amount of cat biscuits that were sent. That was tactical. The original plan was 10 grams of cat biscuits, but because we can run the weight of the payload, parachute, etc., through some prediction software which links with the weather software, which gives you a predicted landing site, by adjusting the weight, you can affect the landing site. So we actually put in extra cat biscuits in order to change the landing site. In fact, of course, it made no difference because we had the balloon issue, but that was why there were so many cat biscuits last time. We really want to get height, and right now, with the day we're thinking of, things are looking rather good, because it does not look as though MAGE is going to go flying across the country, out to sea and across to, out of England land to foreign, which would be a bit of a showstopper, really. It's going to be a lot more local, which means we're going to be able to go for height, because it's not going to be racing away, and the time it spends in the air is not going to be so much of an issue. Really, really, and I mean really, looking forward to this. I'm also looking forward to processing the video and holding a premiere and live stream discussion. And then, fingers crossed, assuming that the Earth is not flat. Because, I make no presuppositions, Mr. Oakley. But assuming the Earth is not flat, then it would be nice to have those images, print them out, roll them up, and shove them in Nathan Oakley, every orifice. That's the plan. That's the plan. Of course, right now he'll take no notice because he's got a bit of a thing for Simon Dan. I hope you've all noticed that. Someone mentioned, I think, Simon Dan's married. But, hey, if he wants to chance his arm, see if he can get away with sweet talking and having a bit of a bromance with Simon Dan. Wow. I'm not quite sure what Dan would think about it, but yeah. Dr. Bob's channel's not very active recently. It is a pity, Arctic. I do like Bob's stuff. Flo Rider. Hello to you, Flo. Good evening, good evening. Pearlfish. And, of course, Second Best Bob. The Snark. The Snark is in the house. Lots and lots of regular people. Well, you're not regular people, but people who are here regular. I'm really confusing myself tonight, aren't I? But... at least I got the sound working. I don't know for how much longer I can run without a cock-up. Let's try, because, like I said, I don't know how the sponsorship reel went at the beginning, and I do want to say thank you. Before I bring people in for a chat, I do want to say thank you to both my patrons and the sponsors of MAGE. Mr. Sensible is proud that MAGE, the mission above Globe Earth, has been sponsored by Bob the Science Guy and his channel, Common Sense Science. I'm also proud that MAGE is sponsored by Arctic Haze and his Climate Anomaly website. MAGE is now also kindly sponsored by Just Shoot Me, a Canberra-based rigging service for para and hang gliders, sailplane pilots and skydivers. I appreciate and would like to thank each and every one of my wonderful patrons. Thank you. So big thanks to everyone, And the mic is unmuted. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Professional. Professional. That's what we like. I'm waiting for the cock up now. The more I build it up, the more embarrassing it's going to be when I do screw it up, isn't it? Right, let's have a look. I'll give you a few seconds warning. We've got a couple of people in the live waiting room, sat there in the green room, enjoying the nibbles and the free drinks provided by Colon. I'm sure he's provided them with plenty of drinks, haven't you, see? Oh, my phone's going off. Oh, what's happening? I'm really puzzled because I don't get a signal here. So what? Who knows? I think it might be Nathan Oakley asking if I got contact details for Dan. You know, see if I can set him up or something. He really is triggered about that whole thing, isn't it? He really doesn't get it, and he really is triggered. Last count, I think, it was about 15 videos he's done, sort of pretty much, well, yeah, on the trot. Live streams and cuts thereof about Simon Dan. And he's spamming his own comment section. Anyone challenges him, he just put, your reference frames are ruined. Quote, Simon Dan. Of course, it's a cherry pick quote. But why are we surprised at that? I'm not surprised. Thank you, Christopher Bell. It was a nice sex dance, wasn't it? Definitely. My phone's going... That's crazy. I never ever... Right, I'm going to switch it off because that's really distracting. I have no signal down here, but suddenly I'm getting messages come in. Go figure. Right, let's bring them in. Let's bring them in. And I will unmute the desktop audio because I'm like that, professional. So we have Mr. Brainless Steel NL. Hello, good evening to you, Brainless.
Good evening, Mr. Sensible.
And you're coming through fine on the stream because the sound is all set up.
Oh, very nice.
Definitely.
I've been messing with my own audio as well, so.
And I'm actually going to turn you up a smidgen because I can do that because I'm professional. Right, well, let's bring in the other one. We also have Nomographer. Hello, Nomographer.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm doing super fine. And you?
Not too bad.
Jolly good, jolly good.
I would say congratulations are in order, it sounds like. For you, that is.
Do you mean with regard to MAGE?
I do, with regards to MAGE, yes. A pretty quick turnaround. It sounds like you're the expert now. Are you still excited? Or has that worn off?
No. I'm dead excited. But the reason for the very quick turnaround is not just down to me at all. It's Q. Okay, so I'm not going to claim credit. Q has been absolutely wonderful. Q is there in the side chat. Actually, I've just noticed something. Q is now a moderator of your channel. Nice one, Q. I don't know, I hadn't done that before. My apologies. My deepest apologies, Q. You are now blue with a spanner. Sorry, you were just... it's a quick turnaround. And yes, I am very, very excited about it. I just can't wait to see the film. And to be honest, if it goes up there and we don't get any images that show anything, sort of, well, that's definitely curve or definitely isn't. If it's just all a bit vague and really not sure, I don't care because what an amazing project, you know?
I agree. I think it is a pretty nifty project. I tried to pay attention early on, but I'm not quite sure how much it costs to do something like this. It seems like getting the approvals and stuff is sort of the big problem, right? Like launch windows and such.
No. The launch window is really down to my days of availability because I work a 6 on 4 off pattern at work, and today is the first day of 2 weeks off, so that's a good launch window. So
does this get harder as it approaches winter? Is it harder on the flight or harder on the balloon? Because of the weather?
It's only the wind. If there's too much wind, if it's way too much wind, you can't really launch because it's going to go sideways rather than up for a long way, and it could travel a lot further, And England land is not the biggest of countries, so it could fall off the edge. So we have to make sure because the prediction
The
software.
edge, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, did you just say that England is the extent of the flat Earth? There, is that what I just heard?
Well, someone I did see a message that what with this sort of 2 meter social distancing, I do wonder if that's pushed many flat earthers off the edge.
That's a
I
good
think
one.
it may have pushed a bunch of people around the bend, certainly. So yeah, if you have like a higher altitude expected because of the lower weight, is that like a longer flight time, more battery power, or does it trade off, or what?
Yes, it is really. I mean, the thing is, the faster it goes up, the sooner it's going to reach a height to burst at. It's literally a balancing act of weight and gas. We can put in more gas, but that balloon, at ground level is fuller, so it will reach its maximum expansion and burst sooner, i.e., not go so high. It seems counterintuitive, but putting a bit less gas in, as long as it's got a positive lift, it will go up. It will go up more slowly, but then it will go up higher because that expansion won't burst the balloon until you reach a lower atmospheric pressure. So it's counterintuitive. You put more gas in, you think you go higher. No, you probably won't. It's the speed you're controlling, and of course, if the slower you're going, then the longer it's in the winds, and so then you're reliant
more-
on the weather patterns.
Right, more downrange to worry about. That's a good point.
Well, possibly, because at different heights, the prevailing winds change direction. So, in fact, you could potentially launch from your house. It goes up, double back, and then of course it parachutes down. It's with the original wind, but you could potentially target it back to the same place you took off from. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but it will be in that area. It's quite incredible.
I think we've identified why a flat earther isn't going to be able to conduct such an experiment, because you're relying on history and data, reality that people have collected over how many hundreds of years to be able to do these types of calculations.
Well, it's some
And calculations.
there's some pretty
Because
fancy.
math isn't real.
There's some pretty fancy.
Something thought up.
Pretty fancy prediction tools. I mean, with our first flight, what we were doing is say, well, how about if we put a bit more weight in? Where will it likely land then? And so on. And that's fantastic seeing that, because you can predict it and basically aim it. As I said, there's no guarantees because winds change slightly all the time, but you have a good idea, damn good idea where it's going to go. Because our concern at one time was it was going to land in the middle, in the middle of a major city. Another time within a few miles of a motorway. So that starts getting dangerous. You don't really want to land a weather balloon, or well, actually, it wouldn't be the balloon, would it? It'd be the payload and parachute in the middle of a motorway. Not if you can help it. Now, with the best will in the world.
What you said in the side chat?
Well, I'll just say, with the best will in the world, even if you predict it to go nowhere near the motorway, weather could change. It could potentially drop somewhere like that, but that's beyond your control. Then, what did Q say in the side chat?
And he managed to have one land within 2 miles
Yeah,
of the launch. That's
I know.
pretty impressive.
It's very impressive, isn't it? Very impressive. Because I forget the distance. I mean, one of ours would have been right across the UK and out to sea with one of our predictions, which is a bit of a bummer because I don't own a boat. So we can...
Could rent one, I
I
suppose,
suppose
right?
so. Yes.
So how long does it
That's
take?
Flotation devices.
Sorry, how...
About how long does it take for one model run to go through? Like, if you change your parameter, how long do you have to wait to get an
seconds.
estimate on the
it
result?
was seconds.
That's pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, it's all set up because obviously there's people who do this all the time. It's their hobby. And yeah, all the software's there. It's literally change the parameters, change the weight or change the amount of gas or whatever. And there you go. And just run it through. And I think the weather I think the weather prediction's updated every 5-10 minutes, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's a me, Mario Rui. Says, point Mage in my direction. He would love a champagne bottle. Good point. I took 2 bottles of champagne last time. One for Q as a little thank you, and one for the landowner wherever Mage lands. Just as a, my apologies. Thank you very much for letting me stomp over your land and retrieve Mage. Here's a little something. But of course that didn't happen because it landed tangled up over a road. So I brought the champagne home. And what do you think happened to that? Mrs. Sensible nicked it.
She just verified that it was good champagne, right?
It could be. But the point is, it means I've got to buy another bottle. Mustn't forget that. So yeah, you could, whoever that, I forgot who, it's a me, depending where you are, keep an eye out sometime over the next couple of weeks. If you see us coming, you could quickly purchase. You could quickly purchase the land it's about to land on, and get yourself a free bottle of champers. Nice one.
Well, if you have to buy the land, then I wouldn't say it would be a free bottle of champagne.
Oh, Misfit Man says, could I tie Nathan Oakley to Mage and include a mechanism to just let him go at 20,000 feet? Why? Let's just send him into orbit where there's, fake space. He can bang his head on his frickin' dome, can't he?
But then it can't lift off because then you got too much
density.
I think, yeah, if we wanted to do density and gravity, I hate to be sort of cliched, but I think a few cinder blocks in the middle of the ocean would probably be a better demonstration of pressure and density.
Oh, Dog Walker asks if the balloon will melt if it hits the sun. Hello, Mark Wagner. And the Mighty Quinn. The dome might knock some sense into him. Yeah. But if he's up there, he can take a picture. Why don't they send one up themselves to photograph this dome? That's all they need to do.
Yeah.
Why don't they get an expedition together and show us the ice wall?
I don't know if they could actually agree amongst themselves, right? Like if 4 of them got together and decided what to do, I don't know.
They'd have 5 different opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, Pearlfish is probably right with regard to Oakley. Too much dead weight. Yeah, definitely.
I was thinking, if they claim the balloon pops because of the dome, could make something that extends above the balloon.
Sorry, say that again.
Well, they say the balloon pops because it hits the dome.
Right.
You could prove that wrong by putting something above the balloon, like something that extends.
Oh,
over
I see.
The balloon.
I see. Yes. Or we could put something sharp and pop the dome. Actually, that's
I don't know. I think the dome.
But all those nukes
right?
didn't. All those didn't work either, right?
But the thing that gets me is how they can hold. Honestly, it puzzles me how they can hold and argue 2 contradictory things at the same time, like acknowledging that there is an atmospheric gradient, but saying that this gas pressure requires a container, and yet further up the pressure is lower. So why do you need a container when you're down to 0.1% or whatever? And what effect is a container that up there having at the 14.7 right down at the ground? Do you see what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense.
Well, there is a container, just not something you can see or touch.
An invisible container. Oh, I see a couple of people have mentioned Mad Mike Hughes. Yeah, well, my sympathies to his family. However, he wasn't a flat earther. He was a stuntman and latched onto this as a way of publicity. Because if you wanted to go up there to prove the earth was flat, well, for a start, he could have got a lot higher just by going on a commercial flight. He didn't need to spend $5,000 or whatever it was on that stupid rocket. And I think it's actually if he was genuine, then that's actually really, really sad that someone could be so misled that they would put their life. I was going to say put their life in jeopardy. Well, more than that, lose their life for something that is so known to not be true. But I don't think he was. I think he's a stuntman, and obviously, as a stuntman accepts risks, and he was just latched onto that as a way of making money.
I don't remember how many. Like, were there multiple attempts there, or did he send up unmanned? Because obviously, you wouldn't just stuff yourself in a rocket. You'd do a lot of trial and error.
He had done it before. I don't know what height he got to before. That was not his first one. And I'm not sure how many test launches he'd done. But steam, wasn't it steam powered?
Yeah.
Was it? Was it?
Yeah, that's what I
Really?
heard,
How does that work? Okay. That's impressive.
Well, Q's pointed out that the barometer will be struggling to get accurate figures once we get down to 0.3 atmospheres. But we will we will definitely demonstrate the gradient. Sorry, what's my what?
What's your telemetry recording on that new sensor? How are you recording that data? Is it broadcast, or are you recording it inside the box?
I believe that that would all be broadcast. I'm sure. I think it's broadcast because the other stuff is broadcast. For reasons I don't want to go into all of it, but we will end up with a telemetry file, which just gets sort of pulled into an Excel spreadsheet. So the column with the pascals, all I do is I'll carry out the conversion process against that column to a column next to it, and then we've got, because it'd be nice to see it as a decimal of an atmosphere, because that's more user friendly rather than whatever it is, 98,000 pascals, and so on.
Yeah, and if memory serves, as you go up, it's not quite linear. Doesn't it sort of flatten off for a while?
Don't say the word flat.
I believe it. Well, I don't want to say the word level then either. I
No,
believe the
or horizontal.
Derivative decreases slightly.
Talking about M.A.G.E, Adam L's just pointed out that, yes, you're quite right, Adam. His parachute deployed on launch, which obviously would have screwed up the flight. And as it was damaged, it couldn't support him on the way back down. I saw the original video before the cut version, which showed the rocket coming down and then stopped the video. I saw the video right down to the ground. I mean, that's very sad. It is sad.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yes. But
it's quite predictable as well.
It's maybe it's a little rude, but he should have checked his stages. No Kerbal Space Program player.
See, it's interesting. I think in this case, if I haven't really seen too much of Mike's videos, but as far as I'm concerned, if that's what he wanted to be doing, then
well, as I said,
good for him.
He was a stuntman. I don't know how. I was going to say I don't know how successful a stuntman. That's. I don't mean to be tasteless. I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't know how well. He was not like Evel Knievel, who is world famous. I don't think anyone had particularly heard of Mad Mike Hughes until he did the flat Earth rockets. But I guess that was part of the point of it.
Yeah,
that could be. Yeah.
Colon's asking, how high will MAGE II go? The target is still the same as the target for MAGE, so I can say that, can't I? It was 39 kilometres. That's the target. We're hoping, with the slightly lower weight, that we may go higher. But the competition is to guess the exact height, and then there are 3 questions. Answer me these questions 3. Here, the other side you see. Hold on a second.
Yellow. I mean blue.
The questions were the... Oh, I can't read it. Oh, the descent rate, or predicted descent rate. How far could the tracker be picked up from? And I can't read that one because the... the estimated weight of the original MAGE. Those are just tie-break questions. I've got a bunch of these neodymium magnets. Absolutely incredible things.
Oh, those are really powerful, aren't they?
Aren't they just? But they are so brittle.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're so brittle that if you let them slam together, they're likely to shatter. I shattered shattered a couple of them anyway. But amazing things. I obviously heard about them before, seen them before, but never had any before. And I was fascinated with. I kept splitting them up into individuals, spreading them over the table, and throwing one towards it, and they'd all and all be in a nice column until they started breaking, and then I thought I better stop that. Neodymium. That's right, Adam L. Whatever you say.
Neodymium.
Not the.
With
Go on.
magnets that powerful, you should be able to get something to orbit around them, right? Maybe you need to construct like a ball and put some, I don't know, dielectric water on it or something, so you can get get a demonstration of water sticking to a ball.
Yeah, Misfit Man, I don't think you're going to endear yourself to the moderators by telling them that, are you? I know you didn't swear, but I don't think you should be telling moderators how to behave. If you have an issue with moderators, you can always DM me and I'll have a look. Okay? Yeah.
And definitely not say that to that one.
But what I'll say, because I did see Gary Wybenga was here pre the stream starting, Misfit. People of all opinions are welcome here. You're welcome to argue your case. That's fine. Just ask for people to be polite, as in no gratuitous swearing or hate speech or anything like that. As long as you stick by the rules, you're welcome here. Okay, I've not come across you before, so I have no idea on what your beliefs are. But I'd like you to know, you know, we do allow people of any opinion in here, as long as they're because this isn't strictly for families, but I like to try and keep it fairly family friendly, because I know that there are one or two children who do watch. One or two.
And they may be over the age of 18, but still.
No, we've got some a couple of young children. I think there's about 3 that I'm aware of. Sort of, I don't know, 11, 12 years old, that sort of age.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes, they like they like to see me bash fliffs.
Yeah, well, and then it depends on if they're American kids or European/British kids. America, I believe that up until like they turn 18, they're not allowed to even hear a swear word.
Well, Dog Walker says that Gary's been banned from lots of channels. Well, I'm going to, give Gary some credit, because he did come on here doing his usual spam, the usual sort of thing. And I had that little chatty bit, as I've just had with Misfit, and he took that on board. And he's still saying stuff that we would regard as rubbish, but I haven't noticed so many of his comments getting withheld by the mods. He's arguing his case. That's fine. So, Misfit, you can do the same. Oh, right. Misfit's actually commented. 1 second. My beliefs are that flat earthers are amongst the most entertaining people on the planet, apart from Nathan Oakley, who needs ejecting into space. Misfit, man, it sounds like you'll fit in here quite well. So as long as you leave the mods alone and don't do anything naughty, good stuff. Good stuff. Yes. Where should we launch Nathan Oakley?
Where?
Yes.
I think the best launch there would still be, 90% of escape velocity. But I'm not a very nice person, so.
Wow. What about sending him into the sun?
That would be some cool videos, certainly. Verify the Helios.
I see that.
Wouldn't that make the sun dimmer?
You could.
It might implode.
It might decide to give it up as a bad job and piss off elsewhere. Imagine if you knew you're a nice sun, you're bathing this entire solar system with energies, giving life, and what do we do with our evolution? We produce a Nathan Oakley. Wouldn't you give up? I would.
Yeah.
Oh, send him at night. Yes. Yes, when the sun's less hot, of course, and not so shiny.
Well, it would be a better effect if you launch him into the sunny side.
What about sort of at the point of dawn, where it's not too hot? Before it's...
Compromise.
Yeah, yeah. Leave him on the moon.
No,
I think just
we want to.
put him inside of a sphere with an LCD panel array, so that it still looks like, you know, he's on a flat surface and everything should be okay.
Oh, Snark, thank you very much for joining us. I hope your back gets better soon. Okay, you take care, pal. See you soon. What's
Later,
this?
Snark.
Sorry, Adamel. Cool videos of approaching to O, the most hot spot within a light year radius, Mr. Sensible. Sometime on a Thursday, Adam, I think would be my answer, because I don't actually know what you're asking there. Send him to
Yeah, I don't
Jupiter.
understand that question either. Wow.
Yeah. Globomom, hiya, Globomom. We could send him to Jupiter to check how pressure would work on a human body. Yeah. What about
That would be cool.
yeah, a black hole? There's no escaping that, Mr. Oakley. Oh, FE peer review
You'd
going
have
to bed as well.
problems with the time dilation and the, you know, length extraction, or, you know, expansion would be sort of problematic for him. I don't think he'd understand that at the, you know, event horizon of a black hole. It would be too confusing for him.
Yeah, well,
I think at that point you already can't be confused anymore. So.
have Oakley as Elon Musk's Tesla pilot. That would have been good. Put him in that suit. Hey,
Without suit.
did you see that thing about part of a rocket? Was it from the 60s that they thought was an asteroid? It turns out it's part of a rocket, is sort of heading towards Earth, which is fine because, you know, that'll burn up as opposed to a great big chunk of asteroid. So I wonder what's going to happen to the Tesla. I don't know how far ahead they predicted the path. Is it in an orbit or is it... Well, I don't know. Does anyone know what they were doing with the Tesla?
I do
Yeah.
not know either.
No,
I believe there is a website where you can see where it is.
low Earth orbit, says Low Key Rage. It's like it must be beyond low Earth.
No. It's
I wonder what sort of magnitude it has. How easy it would be to see.
Well, it depends if the headlights are on or not.
I'm sure it has a sign on the back that says "We brake for nobody."
Yes. Well, Neil Simon says it must be orbiting to stay up. Well, it depends if it's leaving Earth orbit and heading off towards somewhere. Because, of course, things like Voyager and that, they're not orbiting. Well, I suppose Voyager has got solar escape velocity, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But at the very
it
least, it'd
has.
be technically orbiting the sun. I just wondered, I don't know what their path and plan was with it. Interesting.
I would have to assume
it's
they
in
would keep
orbit
it up there.
around the sun. And I'll put.
Is it really? They wasted that much fuel getting it up there? I would think it would be just another piece of space junk or
But it's
Well, as soon as it's out of Earth's gravity, it's in an orbit around the sun.
And Mighty Quinn says Tesla will have a close encounter with Earth in 2091, but no news about its destruction. So it's in at least a very large orbit then.
elliptical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
yeah.
already passing by
it-
Mars, says Andre Puelma. I want to say hello to Andre Puelma. I don't see you in here that often. Andre is the guy who did... I didn't show it in the MAGE II update. I did show it in one of the earlier videos. Did the graphic for the prediction of amount of Earth curve that you'll see at certain heights so that we can overlay it on the video of MAGE and see how it compares. And I hope I said your name correct, Andre. So yes, that's another experiment that will take place during the MAGE experimental video. So we'll point out stuff about the balloon size as it expands. We'll show that curve as against predicted, calculated. And then, of course, we've got curve against the reference frame strings. So and we've now got data about temperature and atmospheric pressure. So, Andre, thank you very much. It is not forgotten. Everyone's gone quiet.
That's definitely what I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to the pictures to see, how many pixels of curvature we have, so that we can compare them against formulas and stuff like that.
Well, I might try and
seems like it could be difficult with some of the atmospheric effects, but that'll
yes,
depend on
but
the weather and such.
This is true. But it's going to be really interesting. And Andre said that I pronounced his name well. Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm not bad at that. There's one or two people on here who have difficult names to pronounce, but generally I do quite well with that sort of thing. Andre, I'm going to try and find your image, because there will be people who haven't seen it. The question actually is, the difficulty is not finding it, it's getting it up without screwing up the sound or the stream. What are you laughing at? I've got two of them.
That's something that never happens. That only happens to Creaky. So.
Well, yeah. Right, I found the image. It's just a case of, can I get it up? Said the actress to the bishop.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Right, actually, this should do. Oh, nice one. Because I set up that map for, the Corona lockdown map. I've got an image source set up, so all I've got to do is repoint it at Andre's image, and he did confirm I got the right Andre, so I'm glad about that. Okay. Oh no, OBS is playing it. I can't actually. Oh no, I can't see anything of what I'm just going to flick to the patron reel and back again to see if it will clear the screen. Excuse me a second. I appreciate and would like to thank No, I can't see myself. The window has just gone black. I can't see anything that's on the stream apart from looking at the actual YouTube stream itself. So, sorry about that, Andre. I'll try for another time. That's really weird. Sorry, say again. Hello?
I think you need a colon.
A colon. No, it's not
Hello?
me. It's not me. It's something up with a... Oh, it's come back again. Let me try a second time, because, I would like to show that image if I can. Unlock it. Yes. It's working now. That's weird. I moved the window over the top. This isn't going to be very clear at this size, but there we go. Is Andre's field of view 90 degrees at 30 kilometres. I think I've got another version of it for 39 kilometres, which was the predicted. There we are. It's just appeared on the stream. So that's the calculated curve. So it'll be interesting to green screen that over the top of the video and see how closely that blue curved line matches. And in fact, that's not bad, because if you see, now I'm a bit colourblind, some people may know, you've got horizontal line at the top and the bottom of the picture height 16.9 diameter dimensions. That would be the equivalent of having the reference lines on MAGE. Similar sort of effect. So that's really great. Thank you, Andre. And we'll look forward to that. And I managed to get it back off without screwing up the stream, unless nobody can hear me. Cue everyone saying, "We can't hear you, Mr. Sensible." Thank you. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I know neodymium. Sorry, Dog Walker says I mispronounced neodymium. Neodymium. Something like that. Has everyone else cleared off and left me?
No, I'm still here.
I'm just talking too
We're
much.
still here.
Good. Arctic says blue lines find their own level. Yeah, and water is blue. Good point. Yes, Andre, I do have others. It's just that I happened to come across that image just a couple of days ago, so I knew where that one was. I will have another good look for it. I've got it in one of my subdirectories. But even with that, it's interesting to see how the curve's going to. Yeah, we can't hear you, Mr. Sensible. Thanks, Pearlfish. Somebody kick them out.
I'm surprised. Tusk didn't say it.
Oh, Pearlfish. Yeah, I do sound like I'm from Nodnol. Definitely.
Is it pronounced neodymium?
I don't know.
Neodymium.
I mean, it sounds like you're trying to say molybdenum, which is a chemical element, but I think it's pronounced neodymium. So,
well, I'm going to. Let's get the correct spelling of it.
Neodym.
Well, slow down. Go on. Neo.
Dym.
Dym.
IUM.
Okay. You guys in Discord won't hear this for a while. It'll come through the stream. I'm going to ask the professor how you say
yes.
that. Okay, here we go.
Neodymium.
Well, I'm not sure about that. You'll hear it in a few seconds' time. How did the professor do? Neodymium.
Neodymium.
I thought there was a B in there somewhere. Neodymium. Oh!
No, I think that's molybdenum.
Yes. Oh, the really slippy stuff.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. And, yeah, neodymium. A few people have said that in the chat. So it sounds like the professor. Go on, say it again, Prof.
Neodymium.
Sounds like he's got it all right. He's a clever man. Clever man is a professor. Definitely. Have you met the professor before?
Thank you.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Good. Well, he's actually guesting in my next video, which will be out in a couple of days. Oh, boy, have I come across a corker. This guy is going to disprove all of modern astronomy.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Well, that's what he's told me anyway.
Well, I will get my sextant out of its box and hold on to it tightly while watching this one.
I laugh in the face of sextants. Oh, dear.
Have you ever had a chance to use one before?
No, I haven't. And I would like to. Incidentally, I want to ask people what they think of this. A long time ago, I went to Bletchley Park, and I found it the most fascinating place. And I actually personally found it quite moving. And I was wondering about the thought of going there and basically videoing and showing some of the interesting stuff, including the the Enigma machine and so on. And I wondered if people would be interested if I did that and put it together as a video about Bletchley Park, because it's off topic for this channel really. So please let me know if you're really not interested. By all means, say you're not interested. Have you ever been there? I don't know where you Brainless and Nomographer are from. Whereabouts around the world?
I'm just on the other side of the water.
Other side of the water.
right direction.
Okay.
I'm in the Netherlands.
And Nomographer? I'm not asking you to dox yourself.
No, I'm on the west coast of the United States, where it's currently 2 p.m., so UTC -7 right now, so over the water and over the land and over the water. So pretty
Okay.
far away from there. It would be a very interesting video, yes.
Yeah. Okay, and Mohammed Shafiq said that would be good. Mighty Quinn said, I'm thinking they're doing their own virtual tours. Most museums do, but I'd love to see it. Well, last time, I actually had a go on... oh, gosh. I forget which way round it is. The encoding machine was the Enigma, wasn't it?
I think that's right.
Yeah, I actually had a go on one, and that was fascinating.
Meaning you were trying to decode the
No.
messages, or...
No, I pressed the button a few times to get it to light up, and then pressed the same button a couple of times, and each time pressed a different light lit up. But they've also got they made they're building a decoding machine. What the hell's the name of it? So Enigma is the encoding. I forgot what the decoding is. It's called the bomb, wasn't it? BOMBE. Yeah, so they're building one, and you can actually see it decoding and all the dials going round, and round the back it's opened up so you can see all the oil ways. The idea of basically making a computer that requires oil feeds is stunning.
That's
Okay.
pretty neat. Yeah, so out here we have the Living Computer Museum. This is out around Microsoft land, so eventually money goes to a bunch of computers from the 50s and 60s and stuff.
Yes.
You can actually touch and mess around with some of them, and some of the computers from the 60s, and there's definitely a bunch of lights, and you can see things light up, and
Yeah.
you can actually log into a few of them and play with a few of them, and I think a few of them are online as well. You can log into and set up an account on.
The reason, I mean, I thought about that because another place I've been to is the National Space Museum. Because I thought of that, because I've been there, took my daughter, and I wouldn't mind going back there again. And I thought of doing it with that. The reason that I thought about Bletchley Park is I just heard on the news that Facebook, I think it's Facebook, have just donated £1 million to help support Bletchley Park because they've lost so much income due to coronavirus, and it was to help support them and acknowledging that really was the birth of computing, which I thought was quite good. So it made me think, yeah, I could do Bletchley Park because it's a long time since I've been there, and I found it absolutely fascinating. Really was. I think I might do that, and it'd make a change. Outside broadcast.
You should definitely give it a try, and if people don't like it, they won't watch it, right?
That's right.
And then you'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Isa says, I live in Leicester. Space Centre's cool. Isn't it just? And right next door to that is a museum to do with the, I think it's a sewage works, something like that. And they got a big old beam engine. No, was it a beam engine? I'm not sure now. But great big engines from the Victorian times. Fascinating. And it's free to go in. Recommend that as well. And Low-Key Rage just super chatted £5. What do you guys think of the new hypothesis of a bouncing universe instead of the Big Bang? I did hear that, I've forgotten who it was, said that they can detect traces of the universe that came before the Big Bang, but I've not had a chance to read much about it. But an oscillating universe is what I'd heard it called before. Colossus was the decoding computer. Was it? I thought it was called the bomb.
There's definitely a bomb in there somewhere because I just saw it on the Wikipedia page.
Yes.
I also saw something like a Type X machine or something like that.
That was
might
something
have
else
been
to
the
do
decoder.
with something else to do with coding, but the actual big machines with all the dials, that wasn't Type X. Yeah. So, right. Yeah, Neil Sullivan's saying about the massive beam engines at that place. It's cracking, isn't it, Neil? Because I took my daughter to the Space Museum. We had a great time there, but we thought we've actually got a bit of time. And just as walking back across the car park, saw that there was this other museum next door, and it was free. So we thought, well, we might as well have a look. You're not losing anything, and that was fascinating. Bomb is the Polish computer. Okay. Colossus was for decoding Lorentz codes. This is embarrassing. Embarrassing, isn't it? Wikipedia. Alan.
Is it embarrassing that we would not know these things?
Well,
I can
since
tell
I'm
you
talking.
what RSA is, what DSA is, what MD5 is. What
Well, it's a
SHA1
bit embarrassing
is.
since I'm saying I've been there before, and shall I do a video about it? And I can't think of the name of it. Oh crumbs! Well, there must be something here that says it.
Names are difficult. Names are very difficult.
Names are extreme.
But the whole stuff about the all the different encoding or decoding dials and the reflector dial and so on, it's fascinating stuff. And there is an online version of the machine so that you can encode messages, encode and decode Enigma messages. Right. Aha. Right. Well. What I'll do is let's see if I can view
I
that.
see the Enigma and the Type X. Yeah, that's about it. The
Right.
Bomba machine.
Bomber. That's it. That is what it's called. I'm just. It's not a particularly good photo of it, but let's now do another image since I've got this.
Special purpose machine to break the machine ciphers.
Oh crumbs. Where's it done it? I don't know where it's put it. It's not gone into this place where I was expecting data. No. I need to reorganize my machine, I think. Be under that. Users. There we go. It's not, as I said, the best of images, but it does say that this, which you'd have seen on the film, is a bomb, B-O-M-B-E, because it was based on some Polish work, I believe, and all those dials are turning a bit like my electric meter, the way that goes. But round the back of it, with the machine open, all those dials, because it's mechanical, they're all fed with little oil ways. These little, looks like brake pipes going to all the bits and gubbins on the behind. I probably have got a little bit of video somewhere on my machine from when I went. But I had a fascinating day with my daughter and my youngest daughter, who's now at university, and I would like to go and see it again. I don't know if they're open, and that's why they've got issues, or if just not many people are going because of Corona. I don't know the background, so maybe it's not a possibility at this point anyway. But I'll be going.
Well,
So
you could
I hate
also
to be
always
so-
ring them up.
yes,
I was going to say early millennium approach. Call them and see what they have to say, right? Like,
yeah, or turn up and walk around and see if I get thrown out. I tell you what was fascinating though. When I was there, some of the huts are basically unrestored and as is, and when we went, it wasn't too long since they'd opened up one hut and started to do restoration work, and hidden in the walls they found more code message sheets and things like that. It's fascinating stuff. Amazing place. Looks like a box of sushi, says Efaf. Nice one.
Mr. Sensible,
Yeah.
may I point out that there's someone in the waiting room?
Oh, is there? Okay, I will have a look in just a second. I didn't notice that, so thanks for that.
No, that's why I pointed out.
Yeah, because I've got Windows covering Windows. That's the problem, and I just want to check. I've just done a look for super chats because I don't want to miss any. No, okay, I don't want to miss any out like I did the other day. That was embarrassing. I felt bad about that. So who have we got?
So, Mr. Sensible, let me ask you a question before you bring them in here. Have you ever had a bombe glacée before? I did not know that was quite an English dessert, but that's immediately what I thought of when you were talking about a bomba machine. Because
If
I
I've had a
never heard of
what?
So you made me think of a scene from a James Bond movie where they're talking about a bombe surprise, which is like a baked Alaska, but apparently there's an English ice cream dessert called a bombe glacée.
Never heard of it.
Have you heard of?
No,
Never
never
heard
heard
of
of
it.
it.
Okay.
So my answer is no. I've never had one.
Okay. Well, it says it's an English dessert. It's weird.
And maybe it is. But let's bring in Gary, Isle of Wight. Hello,
Gary.
Gary, in mid-conversation there. I'll talk over you so no one notices.
I didn't want to come in.
Oh,
I was
did-
just talking to Colon.
Oh, I'll put you back, Gary. It's not a problem.
No, it's all right. Well, you've got me here now, so it's okay. I was just talking to Colon, and regarding the Enigma thing.
Yes.
If you go on Amazon, there's a book by a guy called Dr. R.V. Jones, and it's called Most Secret War. And it goes into all of how they decrypted the Enigma. Because as far as the Allies were concerned, there are only 5 departments of military intelligence, and MI6 was very much kept under wraps, and he was head of MI6. It's an awesome book, and it will give you everything you need to know about how we how we defeated the German radar, because they used radar as an offensive weapon to guide their bombers to drop bombs on various cities, and we used radar as a defensive weapon. So it's a fascinating read, Mr. Sensible, and I absolutely recommend it. If you want to find out more about Bletchley Park and how it worked, that's the book to get. It's a definitive thing about it.
No, that is very fascinating. And I did actually do loads and loads of reading about Bletchley Park, and I would recommend anyone to do research on it. I've got all that stuff somewhere in the back of my head, and I think, isn't it the case that, and it's just recalling some of this stuff. But no, thanks for that, Gary. And have you ever been to Bletchley?
No, I haven't, but it's always been something I've been very interested in. The radio war, as it was called, because the Germans were using radar to send a beam from, say, Brest in northern France, and then they'd send two other beams from further up the coast in Holland. And as the aeroplanes flew along this beam from Brest, they would intersect one of these other beams from Holland, saying you're 15 miles from the target, and then they would intercept the next beam saying drop your bombs now.
Yes.
And this guy, Dr. R.V. Jones, came up with methods of bending those beams so that the Germans would drop their bombs on the countryside rather than on the cities.
Yes,
it's
yeah.
absolutely fascinating.
That does sound interesting. Gary, if you can dig out the link,
I'll find it for you right now.
We'll drop it into the chat. And I would like to say Tom Wildbrand's just become a Sensible member. Thank you very much, Tom. Very welcome, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I just had a particular interest in the coding and decoding and how that worked. And with all those different rotors, that's the word. See, the thing is, I know it's there. I've got that information. It's just recalling it sometimes. They've got so many different rotors, and they're put in a certain set of rotors, and each one would be different than the others. So a signal from one side, in effect from one letter, would come out at a different letter, and it would...
Yep.
The signal would go through all the rotors, then hit a reflecting rotor, which just basically sent it back the other way.
Send it back.
And it would go through another random path. And then, of
That's
course,
right.
you've got the start
And then
position of the rotors.
The stecker board on the front of it.
Yes, on some of them, not all of them.
The weakness of that machine was that a letter would never be encoded as itself. That was the weakness.
Yes, so it could start ruling things out. And then,
Yeah,
of course,
and they used to
they
do a thing called gardening, and they would because they knew that various messages would start off with, there was a weather station in France that gave the whole game away, because every day he would send the same message saying the weather's this, that, and the other, and then he would always sign off with Heil Hitler, obviously.
Yep.
And so what they would do was a thing called gardening, and they would send a bomber out or a reconnaissance plane out to go and fly around a radar station, and they would look for the information coming from the stations nearby, and then they knew that they would be using Heil Hitler, because everybody put Heil Hitler on the end of their messages, and then they could decode it, and that's how they got the key for the day, by running it through the bomb.
But I don't think it was.
Fascinating.
Yes, but I think that a large part of it was not just that was the key. It's just that it ruled out so much. It brought the amount of data that they had to crunch, the amount of combinations, right down to something manageable.
Yes, that they could eliminate an awful lot.
Yeah.
Because they knew that there would be phrases in it, and they knew that a letter would never be encoded as itself ever.
Yeah. The whole thing is fascinating.
That was the flaw in that machine.
And like I said, I actually had a go of a few letters on an Enigma machine, and I found that absolutely amazing. I mean, it sounds funny because you see it in some war films or a documentary, but to actually touch one and realise you're touching some history was just incredible. But I tell you what, I mean, they'd got this machine out and they were talking about it, and the guy was demonstrating it, and they let a couple of children come up, and the kids were really good. They gently pressed a couple of letters, and when it finished and people wandered off, I just said to the guy, look, I've had this fascination with this stuff for years. can I press a letter? You're like a little kid. And he said, yeah, go ahead. So, as I said, I pressed the same letter a couple of times just to see it light differently. Then I pressed a couple of others and I said, thank you very much. That was it. And there was this lady, American lady, as it was, who watched. She came up and decided she wanted to have a go. So she walked straight up and went bang, 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 really hard. And I'm sat there gobsmacked how anyone could be so... what's
Insensitive.
the word? Exactly.
Brutal.
Yes. Just not have any respect for what it was that they were doing, and the fact that we were so fortunate to be allowed to even touch the darn thing.
Well, this is the thing, you see, because one of the things that we developed, we developed radar in about 1935, 1936. They used a TV transmitter, and they flew an obsolete aeroplane, and they detected the reflections from it, and yes, we can tell it's this far away. But the radar was very much very low resolution, so it could detect cities, but it couldn't detect anything much more than a city. And later on in the war, we developed the thing called a magnetron, the cavity magnetron it's called, and it's what's in your microwave oven now. And it
How do you know
generates-
what's in my microwave oven now?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, go on.
A new brand of macaroni and cheese, or should I call it Marconi and cheese?
Oh, man. Poor joke of the night.
But this thing could generate copious amounts of microwave energy at extremely high power, and it would fit in a cigar box. And we took that to America, and because the Americans were very much behind us in radar technology, we took that to America and said, look, we'll give you this if you help us win the war. And it was the biggest coup ever. We gave the Americans the cavity magnetron, where you could generate centimetric waves, so you could detect a snorkel from a submarine from an aeroplane, whereas before you could only detect a city. Because the higher the frequency, the better resolution you get on your radar. If you're using 50 megahertz, you can't pick anything up smaller than 6 meters. But if you're using something that's running at 1.2 centimeters, then you can pick up a shoe on the ground. So this is what MI6 was all about. It was the Allies only knew of MIs 1 through to 5. They didn't know about MI6. It was top secret. Never talk about it, or you will die.
Yeah.
And that's what MI6 did. So yeah, Dr. R.V. Jones, The Most Secret War.
Oh, did you
Or
find
Most
did you
Secret
find
War.
a link to the book, Gary?
Yeah, I did. I posted it in the chat, but I'll post it again. If you look at the side chat now, I'm just about to post it now. There you go.
Thank
And
you
that's
for
an
that.
Amazon. That's an Amazon link, and it's only about a £5, and it's a bloody good read. A really good read.
I shall grab a copy of that. From have they got a they have got a Kindle edition. Why is the Kindle edition £7.99, but a hardcover is £3.57?
Yeah, get the hardcover one. 'Cause you can read it on the toilet. It's great.
Yes.
But I've always been very much interested in military intelligence. It's something that is I've always been interested in it. So yeah, I'm quite well versed in it. So
It sounds
want
like
any
it,
helpful
definitely.
pointers, if you want any helpful pointers, then tap me up.
Okay.
And, I'm
So it
sure I
sounds
can
like
help you out with it.
then that you would agree. I'm assuming that a video about aspects of Bletchley Park would be one that you would watch then.
Absolutely. And if you want any help with it, I'll be more than happy to lend my help.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be absolutely fascinating, because it is a fascinating subject.
It
and
is.
there
It's
are some aspects
absolutely-
of it that are still restricted now.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible.
Some of the things they did.
I went into the hut and into Turing's office, and I'm not sure if it's the same one, but what they have is a desk there, which is supposedly his desk, with the chair behind it, and the radiator. What's on the radiator? Go on, can you tell us?
He's got his cup chained to it.
Absolutely. His mug is chained to the radiator.
Yeah, because he was very autistic, and he was also a gay man, but he was quite autistic as well. If you've ever watched that film, The
Imitation Game.
Game,
Yeah, brilliant
yes.
film. With,
Yeah,
what's his name?
I can't think of his name. Not Jude Law.
No,
what's his
Red,
name?
is it? I can't think of his name either. But it's a
I've
brilliant
got
film,
it
isn't it?
downloaded anyway. It is a
Yeah.
brilliant film.
Yeah, love it.
But the way they treated that man in the 50s, because he was in a relationship with another man, and they chemically castrated
That's right.
him.
It screwed his
And
mind,
then-
didn't it?
Yeah, and then he committed suicide. But he's been given a posthumous pardon now because he was the father of programmable computers. You know, up until the mid 80s, the Americans were under the impression that they invented the programmable computer where you could change its program. But no, we did that in the 40s. That was an English invention. The programmable computer was
Yeah.
an English invention. And it was all done with valves and bloody relays from a telephone exchange. How about that?
I know. It's absolutely astonishing. And to watch the machine, to watch a mechanical computer is a joy. And actually, have you ever looked into relay computers, where people have built?
Yes.
There's some YouTube videos. You can see people have built computers, basic computers, using relays that you get for cars. Absolutely fantastic, and having to create memory and stuff like that, and hearing them all.
That's right.
Brilliant stuff. I recommend that people have a look at those.
And they used to use magnetic core memory where you had ferrite rings where
Yes.
if the wire went through it, it was a 1, and if the wire went over it, it was a 0. So they used to actually weave these. When they did it for the Apollo missions, they would have women that were used to working looms, you know, for making fabric, and they would literally weave this memory wire by wire.
Yeah.
It is absolutely fascinating, that whole computer history, but I can't iterate enough, because I'm a very proud Englishman, that we, the English, invented everything, including the programmable computer.
Definitely.
The only things the Americans invented, and no offence, was condensed milk. And I bought a thing of condensed milk once, and when I opened it up, it was all still in there. So what's all that about?
Oh, and if you go back even further, you didn't have a computer. You had a mechanical adding machine to help you out. And you still had to figure out how to lob your missiles through the air.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. And I've done tons and years of research on Bletchley Park and the Enigma machine.
So sorry, I do apologise. You said you're UK, but you've never been to Bletchley Park.
No, I live on the Isle of Wight.
Well, it's
So,
not a million miles away, is it? But it's going to be
no,
a good
it's-
sort of 2.5 hours away, something like that.
Yeah, I know. It's getting off the island, isn't it? That
Closer
costs
than the
a
Isle
fortune.
left, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well-
It costs a fortune. You've no idea how much it costs to get off the Isle of Wight. It's ridiculous.
Well,
on the ferries.
I've only been to Isle of Wight once. It was on my first date with Mrs. Sensible. That was brilliant. So we went down to the south coast, and I found this. Most parking is horrendously expensive, and I found this cheap parking, nice one, and off we went on the hovercraft over to the Isle of Wight. Spent a very nice day. Went back again, and then found I forgot to pay for my very cheap parking, and I ended up with an expensive ticket.
Yeah. Sounds about right. That sounds
And it
about
hasn't
right.
nothing's got cheaper since.
No, it hasn't. And they just put the parking prices up yet again. And
Well,
everybody's
Gary-
turned around and said, no, we're not going to pay it.
Well, Gary, and the Mighty Quinn says, I've never been to Bletchley Park. Listen, I would thoroughly recommend it. It's an absolutely fascinating place. Some of the huts are just empty, but it's still walking through living history. Some of the huts are as is and almost falling to bits, which is quite sad. But they've got displays of all sorts of items, including some personal items of Alan's, including his watch. But they've got the Enigma machines. They've got a working replica of the bomber, and they will demonstrate that, you know, every hour and a half, whatever they go through demonstration, explaining what it's doing, and you can actually see it decoding a short message until it clicks, and yep, got it. It's absolutely brilliant, and
Yeah.
I don't recall it being very expensive either. So
Do you know that tape, that when they used to run that tape through those machines for the decoding, that thing used to run at 30 miles an hour. That was its maximum speed. Any faster, it would kind of rip itself, and
Yeah.
they'd have a bird's nest of tape everywhere. But they were reading the German messages before the Germans were reading them.
I know.
So that they knew exactly what was going on before the High Command did. Now, there were also various instances where we knew things were going to happen, like in North Africa with Monty and Rommel. Rommel was going to plan an attack, but we had to let that attack go ahead because if we had countered it, then
They knew
would
we
know
knew.
that we were, yeah, and it would have given the game away. So we had to let tens of thousands of men die. Otherwise, they would have known that we were breaking their codes.
Yeah, we
And
had
they
to use it
didn't know
very,
that
very
we were-
judiciously.
Yeah, they didn't know. Nobody knew that we were breaking those codes until the mid '80s because they were still using them. They were using them for business and diplomatic traffic and that sort of thing. And we
Oh,
were reading all of their messages right up to the mid '80s when it was declassified.
Well, the thing is, before I believe before the war, you could actually buy those machines. They were available to for businesses to
Well,
be
it
able
was
to.
that's what it was designed for
Yeah,
originally for
yeah.
businesses. And it only had the 3 rotors with
That's
no.
right.
It didn't have the reflector rotor.
That's
either.
right. Or
And
the
it didn't have the- didn't
what
have
they
the
call
stacker board on the front.
Exactly, which basically adds. It's like an overdrive
Yes.
on a gearbox. It's adding another set of complexity.
Exactly.
Just literally like the old telephone switchboards. You plug A to plug whatever.
Yeah.
And Isa says, please go to Bletchley and do a video. I'd appreciate that. Listen, I think I'll do it. I shall leave a note for myself, and because I've got 2 weeks off, I don't know.
Hurrah!
I don't know if they're open right now. If they are, I think I'll try and go sometime over the next 2 weeks because I know I thoroughly loved it when I was there last time. And yeah, I'll do a video on it. I definitely will. And then sometime I'll do the Space Museum again.
Yeah, that would be absolutely awesome. I mean, the thing is, I mean, it goes deeper as well because the army were using a 3 rotor affair on the Enigma machine with a reflector and a stacker board, but the Navy
Had
and
extra rotors, didn't they?
The Kriegsmarine with their wolf packs, they were using a 5 rotor system
Yeah.
with a reflector and a stacker board. So the permutations were into the hundreds of billions.
Yes, I know. It's absolutely astonishing how many.
But we managed to break it.
I wonder, without using the methods that they used, with a modern computer, if you took one of those encoded messages and just number crunched it, basically, what's the word? Just bashed at it until you worked your way through.
Crypt analyzed it. Yes. it
No,
would
no,
probably
but
work
without
pretty
analysing
quickly.
it. But where you just
brute force.
brute force. That's it. Try to
Yeah,
crack
a
it with brute force.
attack.
How
It would
long would
take
a modern computer take to do it? That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
longer than the Earth has been in existence. We sank a submarine, or we brought one to the surface, and we boarded that submarine. And because the crew had been told to scuttle it by opening the seacocks, and we put a boarding party on board, and they found a Enigma machine bolted to a desk in the captain's cabin, and next to it was the code book with all the keys for the next 12 months. And it was that code book was on a special type of paper that if you make it wet, the paper dissolves and goes to nothing.
That
And they
that
managed
can
to
be
get that
reads,
machine
can't
out.
it?
Yeah, they got that machine out and the code book, and for the next year we were reading all of the Kriegsmarine. Now those
But
submariners
actually, Gary, you saying about that, I believe that we managed to get hold of more than one machine by stealth. And of course,
we
eventually,
were given
eventually,
some by the Polish.
yes, to start.
the beginning of the war.
But the Hollywood did make a movie about it. But of course, in the movie, it was some Americans who managed to get the machine. That never happened.
No,
It was us.
No, that never happened.
I'm not
No,
knocking our American friends. I'm really not. But if you're going to tell the film, tell the story of the film, and say it's a true story, tell the actual story, please.
Yeah. Tony Regime. It wasn't rice paper. It was something else.
I believe
very,
Reeds,
very thin.
isn't it? Reeds. I read something about that recently about codes or messages written on. What was it? I'll have a think on that.
It was a paper you could. It would just literally dissolve in seawater and go to nothing. But those submariners from that submarine that we boarded were spirited off to Canada. So the Germans never got to know that that submarine had been captured, and that the Enigma machine and the code book had been captured by us, because they were put in a POW camp in Canada. So
Galileo.
As far as
Galileo.
the Germans were concerned, yeah, as far as the Germans were concerned, their Enigma machine was unbreakable. Nobody could read it, but we were decoding it before even the High Command were decoding it, and we knew exactly what was going on. We would go and bomb certain radar stations around the French coast, but be told to leave this particular station alone. Don't bomb that one.
Yeah, what I was saying about the paper, I believe that I can't remember the name. You know, Galileo wrote the book about, or the pamphlet about. Oh gosh, what's the famous Galileo book? The one that's mentioned in the sequel film to the Da Vinci Code. I forgot what that sequel film's called.
Angels and Demons.
Yes. Oh right.
Was it that one?
And Tony Regime's just picked up on it. Papyrus reed paper. He says it doesn't dissolve. My understanding is though that there is some sort of reaction. Maybe it's as you're saying, it's salt water. I don't know.
No,
I'll have to look into that.
I think if you just put it in water, it just dissolved into nothing.
Yeah,
So
that's
it
the
had
sort of
to
thing
be
we're
kept in
talking
a
about.
waterproof
Yes,
receptacle.
but if you wanted to, I believe we'll have to find out. Codex. I don't know if it is Codex, but yeah, the thing was written on this paper so that the Illuminati, who or basically scientists who have this book, could dispose of it by dropping it in water. Oh, Tony Regime says Dan Brown made that up. Well, there we go. Yeah.
Well, that was vinegar in that cryptex thing.
No,
they
not
came
that
across
one.
in
That's
that book.
right. No, it's in the second film, and that's another fascinating thing, isn't it? That was that was in the first film. That was supposedly Da Vinci invented those, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. U-505 happened on more than one U-boat. U-505 was taken to Chicago and is on display in the museum. Okay. Yeah, but as I say, we did board that particular ship, and the guy went down with a revolver because he didn't know if there's anybody there, and they found that Enigma machine in the captain's cabin with the code book, and they unscrewed it and took it back, and they didn't know what they had, but they took it back, and MI6 got hold of it, and that just opened the doors. So, because we were unable to break the Kriegsmarine code because they were using 5 rotors and a reflector and a stecker board. So we could do the 3 rotor thing, the army, but we couldn't do the Kriegsmarine until we got hold of that. That was the biggest coup in World War II, and that saved so many transports across the Atlantic because we knew exactly where the wolf packs were, and we could route our convoys.
And actually, in the film, The Imitation Game, they actually make that point. They realise we've cracked this code. We could save all these lives, but we can't because as soon as we do that, they know that we've cracked their code. So difficult. I've just checked Bletchley Park. It is now open as long as you pre-book, so they can time slots.
We had
£21 for adults.
We made a made-up spy called Nightingale, and the information that we were getting allegedly came from Nightingale, which was a spy in Germany, and that was what we used to keep the Enigma thing, the bomb, we're cracking it. That's what we used to keep it secret. Now, I don't know if you know, but we had lots of German spies in England. Lots of German spies. And every single one of them was turned, and they were all working for us. So the Germans thought they had this excellent spy network in England, but they were all working for us. The dead homeless man, that would be Operation Mincemeat, the Mighty Quinn. Oh, everything's gone black. Oh no, it's come back again. There we go. Yeah, that would be Operation Mincemeat. That was a guy from, I think he was from Bristol, I'm not sure, alcoholic. And they furnished him with a suitcase, or a briefcase rather, with fake documents in, and ejected him through the torpedo tube of a submarine off the south coast of Spain, knowing that it would be picked up by fishermen and because although Spain were neutral, they were fascist and were sympathetic to the Germans. and we knew that they would pass that on to the Germans. And that whole operation was to convince the Germans that we were going to invade Corsica, when in fact we were going to invade Sicily. So the Germans moved all their forces to Corsica to reinforce that island, and we invaded Sicily. And it was then only a very short step over to Italy to invade Italy, which Churchill deemed the soft underbelly of the Nazi regime. So yeah, all good stuff.
Is this going to be on the test?
Yeah.
Yeah, so take notes. We'll be asking questions later.
Well, listen. As I said, I checked Bletchley. It is open. You have to pre-book. Now, I don't know if there's long queues, waiting lists. I'll find out about that because it's got to be at least it's about three to 4 years since I was there, I think. And I would like to go back there again, and I've got some time. And of course, we can't go on holiday and stuff like that nowadays, so it could be a nice day out and some interesting stuff.
Maybe you should get in contact with them and say, look, I want to make a video about this and
Yes.
set the groundwork for it, and then
yeah.
maybe
See if you have a look behind the scenes. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
that would be an absolutely fascinating video.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd love
If
to
you're
get some
gonna have
close-ups real close-up behind the barriers of the machine, that sort of thing.
Yep. Yeah, but
If you're
there's
going
still
to have
an awful
a grand day out, do you take Wensleydale with you?
lot.
Could do. Wensleydale. I love
That's
that
a cheese,
stuff.
isn't it? I love
Absolutely.
cheese.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Wensleydale cheese is lovely.
It's so hard to get here. I don't understand why, but
Yeah, you have American cheese over there, don't you? It's not really cheese.
well, I
is
don't
it?
really buy American cheese. Unfortunately, I'm
Don't
close
blame
to
you.
a port, but I mean, we import cheeses, and most of the good cheeses are imported. But I haven't seen Wensleydale in a long time. So it seems like it
I wonder
only
if
shows up.
I wonder if that's because of rules about the bacteria that are in them, the molds. Oh no, kind of like it's gone bad. It's got mold in it.
Do you get blue cheese over there?
There is blue cheese here.
Ah.
Do you get like Stilton and that kind of thing?
God, I love a bit of
Yeah,
Stilton.
there's definitely a good variety, and some of the stuff imported is definitely from England. I just haven't seen Wensleydale in forever.
Red
It's
Leicester.
very disappointing because I
Red
do like
Leicester.
Wensleydale.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
Red Leicester's good as well. That burns your mouth when you eat it if you get a good one.
I
That's
love
lovely.
Red Leicester.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, it's nice on jacket spuds.
Cheese is better with mold, says Mighty Crew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love
yes,
a
completely
smelly
agree.
cheese.
Cheese is mold.
Well, you know what I mean, where it's actually got
Well, it's got the blue mold
blue
in it.
marbling and that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's looking for Dorset Blueveny or something like that, right?
No, the Stilton, honestly.
That is gorgeous,
That's the
isn't
only one
it?
to go for. And there's a pub in Yarmouth called the King's Head, and they used to do this amazing Stilton burger, which was a big half-pound burger with just melted Stilton over the top and garlic mushrooms, and fantastic.
Oh, I like deep fried camembert though.
No, I'm not
that's
over, I'm not over
dangerous.
keen on that.
Oh, I do.
Camembert's very nice, and brie as well. I do like brie,
Yeah.
and it's got to be ripe as well. You know, if it's ripe, it's just not. If it's not ripe, it's just mild and fairly tasteless. But as it ripens, the flavours just come out. It's fantastic.
It's quite interesting looking at the side chat. All this talk about cheese now.
Yeah, Mr. Sensible, you're a place to talk about food.
We always seem.
Because almost every stream we end up at something about food.
We do. We
Mr.
do.
Mr. Sensible, there's someone else in the waiting room.
I know. I sent him a message seeing if he was
Oh.
ready to come in, but he didn't reply. So should we just try dragging him in? Let's see what happens. Demon Orb, are you ready to talk?
Oh, hello.
I did send you a message, Demon.
It didn't come up and show me.
The old "it didn't come up" excuse. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
just
yeah,
what
that-
Mrs. Sense was always saying to me.
Yeah, as Cluzo would say, I see you're familiar with the "it didn't come through" ploy.
Ploy, yes. That is what I said, you stupid little man.
There's a berm in my room.
A berm?
A berm.
That is what I said. A
Is this
berm.
your dog? Is this your dog?
Oh, I
Oh,
love.
does your dog bite her? Fantastic, weren't they?
Did you ever see
Cluzo.
that film of his, The Party?
No.
That's
I
a
don't think
really
so.
small film of his. It's quite strange. He was supposed to be a minor extra in a film, and he managed to sort of make himself almost the star of it. And there's some sort of Hollywood-style party, and it's all things that happen to him while he's at this party. It's worth a watch. It's definitely not his best thing, but yeah, that was good fun. And of course, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Love that film.
But he wasn't the first choice for Inspector Clouseau, was he? Peter Sellers. I think he was the
believe so,
third or
no.
fourth. No, I think he was the third or fourth.
Oh, excuse me,
Choice.
excuse me, guys. There's an important message. JT Nyberg says, I hate cheese. Why am I even subbed to this channel? Oh, right. Mr. S is a babe. Oh, yeah. Right, I'm going to call this stream to an end. JT Nyberg, please DM me at once. Oh, suits you, sir. Suits you.
It must be the bald head.
Hey, it does it. It's not a bald head. It's a solar panel for a sex machine.
There you go.
Apparently.
JT Nyberg, a solar-powered sex machine. What
Yeah.
more could you possibly want?
Well, Nathan Oakley wants new batteries.
Nicola
Does
Redmond
it,
says,
does it also come in a Britney form?
A Britney form? I don't know.
Yeah.
Nicola Redmond says body fluids. Right.
Oh, right. Efaf has seen the film, The Party. His death scene lasting an hour. That's it, with the trumpet. Yes. Or cornet, or whatever it is, the military. Is it a cornet or trumpet the military used to use? You know, the old.
It was a cornet they
Right.
used.
Yes. That's it. Because in the film, he's dying. But rather than just, oh, I'm dead, he would sort of keep staggering up a bit more and really overplaying his part. And there was the thing with the bird. Was it a budgie? And he's feeding it birdie num-nums. Actually, that film, they probably wouldn't show it on TV now because he was playing an Indian. So it was blackface, in effect. So they probably wouldn't show it.
They probably. I'll tell you what. Have you ever read Spike Milligan's war memoirs?
No.
You should, but do not read them on public transport because you will be a snotty mess. They are absolutely hilarious.
Oh, I've just been informed
it-
it's a bugle. Thank you, guys. Bugle.
It starts off with Hitler, my part in his downfall, and then it goes. There's about 6 or 7 of them. They are absolutely hilarious.
Sorry, the mighty one says, I sense a hot slap is coming from Mrs. S. I should be so lucky. This channel's getting quite inappropriate tonight.
Mr. Sensible, are you working up for the game night on Friday?
Piplash.
Oh, is that is Piplash likely to be Friday? Is it?
Yes.
Yes, because I did
Friday 9 o'clock.
I did mention it to her on the last stream, and yeah, I'm up for that. I know very little about this. It's going to depend. Some of it will depend on MAGE. You know, who knows? But as a concept, I am not averse. So
Good. Because you will laugh your bits off.
good.
Yeah. and for the people in the side chat, if you come, it's not safe for work.
Definitely not. It's Pie Parrots channel people in the side chat, and it is an absolute scream. Everybody just drinks, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. But it's hilarious, isn't it? Brainless,
Yeah.
you know, it's just bloody hilarious.
Well, I'm sure
Yeah.
someone could dig out a link to Pip's channel. That would be great.
Oh, of course. she'll probably call me a show off again.
Oh, Watto UK's off to bed. Right, he
Everybody
says,
should
right,
try
I'm
to
off to
try
bed. Have
Parrot.
fun.
She's
Well,
she's
lucky you,
hilarious.
Watto.
Yeah. Also the crazy videos that she puts up. They're
The stories,
hilarious.
they are
The
absolutely
stories
hilarious. Yep. And what creases me up is when she's reading it, because she reads them fresh. She doesn't read them before and then get
Yeah.
on with it. She's just creased up halfway through it. It is bloody hilarious.
Isaac,
Yeah.
good night. Thank you very much for joining us. Nicola Redmond says, Dr. Strangelove quote, "Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. It's the war room."
It's the war room.
That's got to be the quote of the film, but it's some brilliant stuff in there. Absolutely brilliant. I love that. I must see that again. I've got that downloaded.
The link to Parrot
Yeah.
is
Oh,
in the
thanks.
side chat.
Yeah. Thank you,
I must
Demon.
download that again. Watch that
Yeah,
film
she,
again.
she,
It
she's
is
got
funny.
some really crazy videos.
But Pitplash is just on another level, isn't it? It's just
it's almost below the intelligent level of Flat Earth.
Well, I shall have a go. I'm quite innocent, so I might be shocked and never come back again, but I shall have a go.
Well, you've probably seen some of Pip's videos.
Oh, the mighty one says Spike Milligan's grave says, "See, I told you I was ill." I'll tell you what I'm going to have. You know what I'm going to have on mine? I want a second opinion, please.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Jerry Farmer says, "All right, satellite internet is back online. Did I miss anything exciting?"
You missed the cheese conversation.
You missed the cheese. Yeah, the whole conversation about cheese. MAGE.
Oh, someone accepted.
Cryptography within the war. A bit of everything, really.
yeah, you missed an awful lot, to be honest. Shame on you. Go
Yeah.
and stand in the corner.
Anyway,
Mighty Quinn, shut up.
Demon. You should, Demon.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You must post that
Demon
on Nathan
Austin there.
Oakley's channel.
Yeah. I'm not gonna read it out loud.
What's that?
I was going to say, I thought I heard something earlier about this channel being safe for 11 and 12-year-olds. So it sounds like we're getting
yes.
close to the line.
Yes.
Oh, we are
I'm not
past
the
the
one that
watershed
approved Peter
time,
Quinn's
so-
message.
Well, put it this
I'm not
way.
the one that approved.
Put it this way. What we don't have on this channel is gratuitous swearing or hate speech or anything like that.
No.
So, yeah, I suppose some of the actually, and even the subjects we've covered, it's been a bit. What's the word? It's. I don't know if you're familiar with English pantomime, but it's done on two levels. A lot of this stuff is adults get and see the side of things that kids perhaps won't see. Jerry Farmer, you'll have to rewatch the stream. Just to let you know, if you're interested in war cryptography, I had raised the possibility and asked for people's opinions on whether they thought I should go back and revisit Bletchley Park and do a video on it. And to be honest, I'm quite excited about the idea. I've got a few days off. I'm going to see if I can do it. My only problem is I don't have decent camera equipment. I have a phone. It's a very good camera on this phone, but that's it.
As long as the lighting is good, then a camera phone is probably good enough.
You can get a reasonable video camera for £150. I mean, I've got one here. It's a Canon, and it does 1080p, and I think it was about 150, 160 quid.
Oh, Chris,
I mean, I
Chris
know-
Durham says Bletchley, yes. I think it's a go. I will speak to them because they might get a bit sniffy about someone doing that, but maybe they're fine with it. I'll find out. Yes, I do need to get a camera because right now this beautiful visage is just coming through a £15 Logitech webcam,
Right.
and it does okay
I
for
mean,
this.
you can get decent ones on Amazon. Get a Canon or a Panasonic. They're the same thing, but they are around about £150.
Well, I probably need to seek advice. Actually, I'll contact my daughter because she's really up on. She's actually studying media. She does film and editing and stuff like that. So I will have a word with her because obviously I don't need all the whiz bang stuff that some people need. I'm not going to be doing anything fancy with it. How about gratuitous nudity on the channel? Well, Mighty One, if you want to gratuitously get yourself nude on this channel, get yourself onto the Discord with a camera and we'll see what we think.
I see Hugh Jars has just joined us. Greetings and salutations to you.
Hugh Jars. Hugh Jars.
Hello, Mr. Jars.
Mr. Jars.
So it's like what?
Oh, Neil Sullivan. I can put you in touch with the technical director at the Space Centre for a proper tour. Neil, yes, please. Because as I said, my original idea had been the Space Centre. And I was going to just contact them just to see if I could possibly get anything behind the scenes. But if you've got a contact like that, absolutely, big time I'd like to do that. Please, please, please. You can email me. It's mr-sensible@hotmail.com. You can jump on my Discord. Links to both are below. And DM me. And yeah, I would be over the moon at something like that. Really would.
Over the moon, boom boom.
Ha! I didn't even realise what I said. But then that goes for most of my streams, really. So, oh, JT Nyberg says, I am nude over here. I always sleep naked. JT, under my clothes, I am nude.
Under my clothes.
Look
Yeah.
who's
Just
just
think
appeared
about all
in the
of-
chat.
Just think about
Good
all
evening,
of Crafty
Tommy.
Kila's goats.
Hello, Tom Tom, Dim Dim, Dum Dum.
Tum Tum!
Do we have to start with
Space-
insulting him?
Space Centre
No.
Lumdio. Laugh
Yeah.
your what? Dick off? What is it? What's Lumdo?
Lumdo.
Well, listen, Tom, we had that discussion 2 streams ago, and you said that you would email me so that we would arrange a one-on-one discussion or debate, whichever we can decide via Zoom or similar. I'm still waiting for the email. I honestly would like to do that. Okay, so please don't forget.
I would be interesting.
It would.
That would be interesting for a video or a stream.
Yeah, because with the best will in the world, when someone puts out a video, it's not them as a person, is it? It's if you were live streaming, then I think we can get to know you. Get to know someone a bit better. I like to think, bearing in mind the information I can and can't reveal about myself, I like to believe that I'm being myself on the stream, and so that you actually do get to know me fairly well, the sort of person I am. So it would be nice to chat. So please, as you said you would, give us an email. Right, so I don't know if I missed anything else. Whoever it was, and I do apologise, saying about the Space Centre. Yeah. Oh, Neil Sullivan. Yes, Neil. I would really, really like that. What an opportunity. And if the person says, sorry, I don't do that, or can't do that, or won't do that, that's fine. That's not a problem, and I'd fully understand. But it's a case of if you don't ask, you don't get. So I would love that. Definitely.
I would love Multi Tom Tom to join us now. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Is he gone again? Or are you still here, Tom Tom?
No, he's still there. I'm like what garlic is to vampires. Are you really? Are you still a teacher without a degree?
Well, I do get that he wouldn't want to come in with.
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, what's up, Mr.
Hey, Mitch.
Louis here as well?
Yeah, I thought that you might be Tom Tom, but apparently you're not. Tom Tom, hop on the Discord, jump in. Oh, Mark Wagner, another vote for Bletchley.
He doesn't do Discord. You should know that by now.
Yeah, well,
He doesn't know how to.
How are you guys? So what I missed, can you bring me up to date on everything you spoke about?
I've been propositioned, I think, Mitch.
Again.
Yeah, you were, weren't you?
Hey, Mitch, I gave an update on MAGE II. We had we've discussed cheese for a bit, but also we've had quite a long conversation about wartime cryptography, and I raised the fact that I went to Bletchley Park about 3-4 years ago and was planning
did
to,
you?
was planning to go again. And would people be interested if I did some sort of video about it? The answer seems to be yes. So I'm looking to
As
see if I
long
can
as you
get.
promise to talk about Professor Turing, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing, isn't it?
It certainly is.
So
And I'll have you know, you don't know everything there is to know about me. Is that I used to be in the military in the Signal Corps, the Army Signal Corps, and I was a cryptographer. So I know quite a bit about military cryptography. Of course, I can't tell you about any of it.
well, you could, but then you'd have to kill us, wouldn't you?
I would have to kill you if it were 40 years ago and the stuff was being used. Yeah. Nowadays, everything is cellular. It's all fully digital. The stuff that I work with was the last of the analog communication systems that the Army used. It was actually analog cellular.
It was smoke signals, wasn't it, Mitch?
Actually, it was those flags that you sort of wave around for the alphabet. Do you guys have that?
yeah.
Oh, you guys probably invented that shit.
Semaphore, nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Mitch.
pretty soon you'll have quantum cryptography, which is more analog than digital. So we'll be back where we started soon.
No more secrets, right? Do you remember that movie? With
No.
Robert
Yeah,
Redford?
Robert Redford and Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Sneakers.
Sneakers.
That was a good movie.
That was a good flick.
Well, we got.
Technology is a big joke, but you know.
Hey, Julie.
Hey, Mr. Sensible, what's good?
Pretty much everything tonight. It's gone well tonight. It's been fun.
Good.
So, MAGE II. I'll watch the beginning of the video. I'm sure you'll have a short version of an announcement, but
Yeah,
we're
the
pretty
video is
excited
about 7 minutes long, something like that. 7-8 minutes long. It's not massive. It just talks about the upgrades, shows it as it is rebuilt, and a couple of things. But we're hoping, fingers crossed, it will be within the next few days. Depending on weather.
All right. Well, we'll do our bit with the Illuminati to try and get the weather changed over Britain.
Excellent.
In the next couple days. See what I can do. I'll talk to some of my people.
No, that sounds good to me, Mitch. Bletchley Park, Mitch. I'm going to get in touch with them. See if first of all, just make sure they're okay with people filming, but seeing if there's any chance of getting any behind the scenes access as well. But I've been there before, and I've had a go on an Enigma machine, and I saw the decoding machine, the Bomber, their replica one, working, and it's just absolutely amazing. Just watching that chug away and hearing it. Wow.
Analog computing is fascinating, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Mitch, maybe you have. Have you ever seen on YouTube where people have built computers, very basic computers, using... so the bloody word's gone again.
Relays.
Relays from cars.
What's that?
Using relays from cars.
Relays from cars. Yeah, you can build very, very simple Boolean circuits.
Absolutely.
With,
Absolutely.
Any electric relay.
Yeah, but they're brilliant, and then they have to.
We saw a guy do a Lego controller with relays. And actually, if you guys are into Wintergatan, the original Wintergatan marble machine.
Oh yes, yeah. Sorry, as you said that, I didn't recognise that. I subbed to his channel. It's brilliant, isn't it?
He's doing pretty well as far as the Patreon angle goes. I'm sure he has to go to bed every night and think about how to spend all that money.
Oh yeah, it's patrons. It's incredible, isn't it?
Almost 10,000 patrons.
Yeah. So imagine
what channel
that.
is that?
It's spelled. Yeah, actually, I'm subbed to him. I'll see if I can get a link.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, thanks.
Winter Gatan. I'll put it up in chat.
Thank you. And he's built this music machine that's all powered by. Well, actually, originally it was hand powered as he winds it, and it lifts marbles to the top and lets them run down channels and hit hit music, glockenspiel, hit guitar strings and stuff. It's an amazing project.
So much more complicated now than the last one was.
Yes, the Wintergarten X. Or Marble Machine X, yes.
Yes.
Yep, and he's going to be building that thing for the rest of his life, is my prediction.
Yeah, well, at 9,000 patrons, that's a nice living, isn't it? So imagine that. If each of those is paying $1, every month, $9,000 a month.
And remember, he's European, so it's going to be €1 a month, so it's even a little bit more than that.
Well, actually, with patrons now, I think people can pay in their local currency.
Oh yeah, I've seen him before. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then it'll be Krona.
He's
But
going to
he's
be
Swedish.
okay until he loses his marbles.
But
He's Swedish, where,
I'm
studios
trying for the win tonight. What can I say? You know?
Well, we got a couple more in the waiting room. Let's bring them in. So let's bring in Charisma and the Stingray. Good evening to you two.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Good evening,
I
people.
think somebody should drop Multi Tom Tom a link so he can come in as well, because he's being quite confrontational.
Oh, is he? I saw him saying that Discord is not very good.
Discord sucks or something, yeah.
Yes. I don't know
He
why.
won't, because he's got no balls. He won't come in.
Chicken.
So I'm just laughing. Kale says, I love when you pull people with no warning.
Oh dear.
He's
still
written-
laughing his dick off.
It's got to be that, hasn't it? So that means he's dickless.
This is a guy that professes to be a teacher, yet doesn't have a degree because degrees are for plebs. And you can't be a teacher if you haven't got a degree.
But
So, Tom, you are an actor, as you said about Neil deGrasse Tyson.
well, Gary,
You are an actor.
You cannot take away from Tom though. He has actually, in video, challenged Neil deGrasse Tyson to a debate. And when someone mentioned it, he said he would also debate Dunning-Kruger as well. So, he's not scared.
He's got to be careful of Dr.
Why?
He'll pick you apart.
Why would Neil deGrasse Tyson waste his time with a nobody like that? I'm sure he's got far better things to do.
Well, Tom said that he could smash him.
I'm sure he can. Yeah, in his dreams.
Well, Multi Tom Tom, if you don't want to do it via Discord, what method would you be wanting to use?
Well, it's Zoom or something he said he would do. And he was going to email me so he could arrange it. Because I tend to use a site called Whereby, which is basically Zoom. So we could do it on Zoom.
If you ever do, Mr. Sensible, I want to be in that.
It would be one-on-one.
One-on-one.
Why would we bother Dr. Tyson? I would debate Tom, and I could beat him with using only one-syllable words. What do you think of that?
Like the and, yeah, me too.
He couldn't even beat Tyson in a freaking rap battle. What are you talking about?
Tom says that Neil doesn't know what gravity is. Hello, Mike Jones. He doesn't know what gravity is. So, well, if Neil doesn't, I presume then it will be quite easy. It should be quite easy to actually thrash Neil in a debate. You must admit, if Neil doesn't know what it is.
I want to challenge everybody, if I could, just for a moment, and I know I have a habit of running my mouth anyway, but I think it's important that anyone who's really into debunking see a very, very interesting video. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the channel Veritasium.
I have seen some stuff on him, yeah.
I'll look at that
He has
channel.
a fabulous video. I'm pulling it up right now. Just give me a moment. And
Veritasium's
it's
awesome.
basically about what gravity really is. And
No,
I've not seen that one yet.
I will win.
I watched that one the other
definitely
day.
worth
It's
seeing.
really good. It's
No,
definitely
This
you
is
won't
the
win.
definitive video on what gravity is.
and
you'll
what
be
gravity
stunned.
isn't. And
You'll
what
be
gravity
stunned.
isn't too.
Multi-Tom
Is that the
says he will
link? Is that
win.
the link?
Yeah, it's
That's
a
the
link
link
to
in the
it.
side
Yeah.
chat.
In the chat.
Yeah, this is the primary point. DeGrasse knows that he doesn't know what gravity is, and he's willing to state that, but he also knows what gravity is partially and what it isn't. That's a whole lot more knowledge than knowing nothing about gravity. So I think in a debate, there's still going to be a considerable imbalance of understanding there.
But Veritasium did do a great job on that video explaining gravity of what it is and isn't, and about it's mainly about inertial reference frames. Well, reference frames altogether. Yeah,
flat earthers frequently refer to inertial reference frames, but they clearly do not know what an inertial reference frame is.
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
Well, the thing is, it's okay not to know what it is. It doesn't mean that you can't use it. It doesn't mean you can't make predictions based upon it. I mean, all our orbital mechanics all rely on it. So even if we don't understand the exact mechanism of how it works, we know it works and we can use it. There's more to learn.
Yeah.
What do you mean gravity is BS? Okay, Multi-Tom, what makes you go down? What is down?
Downity.
Pussytrons. Pussytrons push you down to the earth. That's what.
But would they be suckatrons? You sure they're not suckatrons?
Downytrons.
Yeah.
So it's actually easier than this because GPS satellites have to take into consideration time dilation.
They do indeed.
For the clocks to work. So if GPS is working, then general relativity works.
Yeah, but Stingray knows what I'm talking about when I'm talking about pussytrons, though.
I have heard about this as well.
Is it a pusher bot or a shover bot?
I love this comment, Jerry Farmer. Tom versus Tyson would be like Stephen Hawking versus The Rock in a cage.
And Tom, you said the reason things go down is density. So your next question is, what is density?
Or right, the hand versus Terra Larasa.
Tap. And as buoyancy and density, Multi-Tom, things go towards the lower density, then the air above is slightly less dense than the air below. Why don't things go up if they go towards the lower density? Interesting.
Plus, if it was how boats would stay afloat. The boats are clearly denser than water.
Plus, if it was just about buoyancy and density, why aren't we suffocating in xenon gas right now?
Absolutely.
Exactly, and CO2 as well. Yeah.
And CO2 and xenon and argon.
Yeah.
Listen, don't confuse things with facts. That's not helping.
I think Multi-Tom needs to ask, why does a helium balloon go backwards when you accelerate in a car?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That was Smarter After Day did a video about that.
They had two balloons, didn't they? One going back and one going forward.
Yeah.
And then when you braked, they went the other way.
Yeah, one was filled with air, one was filled with helium.
Yeah. It's a brilliant demonstration.
Yeah.
Multi-Tom, good grief.
Come on, Tom, I'm still waiting for you to tell us, what is density? You said density is the reason we go down. So what is density, Tom?
How do you measure density without gravity?
Does anything have density without gravity? That's the real.
How do you measure buoyancy without gravity? Given that G is in the equation.
Tom says he can explain on the live stream. Well, listen, Tom, honestly, I genuinely would like to. Look, you've seen enough of me, Tom, to see that I do not abuse people. I don't shout over them. I don't mute them. We can have that discussion. You can explain what it is that you believe. Okay. Yeah, please do. If you can teach us anything, you can teach us.
Come and teach us. Mr. Sensible, why don't you post a link in the side chat
the link
so that he can...
Oh, there you go. Colon's just done it. Thank you, Colon.
Nice one, Colon. There you go, Tom. Click that link and join us. but he won't.
But Tom,
No,
if,
of course
if
he
you do, Tom, I will guarantee you, if you receive abuse from any of the people in this room, I will move them out of the room. Okay, and so that's fair warning to all those in the room. It might not be that stuff you may say is stuff stuff you say may be stuff we can all ordinarily say, but I'm going to be extremely gentle and polite with Tom if he comes on, and I'd like you guys to be the same. But we'll see.
We're all decent people.
Sorry.
Sorry, I don't do Discord.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, Tom, please
convenient.
email me, mr-sensible@hotmail.com, and we'll sort it out on Zoom or Whereby or one of the other video streams. You can either appear on video or just as a still image. I don't mind, and we'll have a discussion. Okay, we can pre-record it if you like. If you don't want to do it live. I don't like gangbangs, said Tom. I know why. It's because you don't get invited to many, do you?
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. I mean, you have to admit right now the room is kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do get it that he doesn't want to come in with all of us here.
So do I. Which is why I said I would, make sure he's treated very gently. And if you made some, nasty remark, I would move you out. Not because I'm upset or angry, but because I would want the opportunity for Tom to talk. He says he doesn't do Discord. He has said that before. Okay, fair enough. I mean,
just really quickly, if Tom comes in, I'll switch sides.
So, to answer the previous question, then, let me speculate here for a moment. Since gravity is just an acceleration, the question was, how do you measure density without gravity? Should you not be able to do this in a different accelerating frame? So, shouldn't you be able to measure density by spinning something around above your head? If you can adjust the acceleration and make that type of measurement?
That's not what density is, unfortunately.
Yeah, talking about mass, aren't you?
Yeah, mass.
But to measure mass, volume, and density, if you were to try to measure density in space, how would you do it in the absence of gravity?
Well, volume is irrelevant to gravity or density. It's just unit volume of space. Density has nothing to do with gravity, but mass is the thing that I think you're.
Well, here's the thing, and it's in that video that I've been hinting at, the Veritasium video. They explained that the mechanical effect of gravity and the time-space effect of gravity, which have different equations, they've actually taken it out to, I think, 13 decimal places of equivalence of precision. So it really doesn't matter which one you talk about. It's exactly the same. It only comes into play when you are in an accelerating time frame. If you're not, then you have no density. If you're in a privileged reference frame or an inertial frame, zero density because you have zero mass, or zero weight, I should say, not zero mass.
Excuse me. I do apologise. I just come off nights. Oh dear.
I've got some interesting news actually, and I can say it feels like someone's sitting on your chest. But I got an awesome diagnosis from my test on Saturday. I have the 17 or 19. What is it? No, 19. Even higher than 17.
COVID-19.
Yeah, there you go.
And how are you feeling right now, Sting?
Feel like someone sat on my chest and it's aching a little bit.
Yeah.
But I haven't got a temperature. I'm not good enough to debate. I'm not good enough to defend my pushytrons at the moment.
Yeah.
That's why I probably didn't jump in to defend them. But I feel okay by myself.
Well, I wish you well, my friend. Did you see on the news that actually it's not the first person, but it has been confirmed in the States about a guy who had COVID and then has caught it again, and it's been confirmed because they've shown that the sequencing is different between the two incidences.
I don't know whether it's the Yorkshireman in me, but that feels like a challenge.
No, you wanted
five confirmed.
I think it's 3 times
infections in the U.S.
Well,
Yeah, well, we're gonna have an Englishman go for 3 times then. Obviously.
Right.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
go Stingray. David Oliver, super chatted £5. Thank you very much, David. Do you think there's such a thing as gravitons? I myself don't think so, yet I find the idea fascinating. So I don't know what you guys think. Gravitons.
No.
What about
Gravitons,
invisible
Gravitons
rubber
are-
bands?
Yeah, they're a theoretical particle, and they don't. There's been no evidence that they exist. But the question is, do they even have to exist? That's the really interesting question. So far, all of the forces that we see, the electric force, the magnetic force, the strong force, and the weak force, all have particles that we can identify and say, this is what causes this force. No one has been able to do it for gravity, but that doesn't mean that it's not real. That's because gravity is a force effect of the curvature of space-time. It is not a force. There's nothing pulling on you. It is the nature of time and space. And it's, once again, I recommend that video by Veritasium if you want to see what it's really all about. So Multi-Tom is virtually correct when he says gravity is not a force, but we can treat it like a force.
A la
for
George
the
Musa.
purpose- Right? For the use of the equations, which we know work 100% predictably. So not sure what the beef is with the gravity.
I can tell you exactly what the beef is with the gravity, Mitch. A flat Earth wouldn't work with it because it would collapse into a sphere. Also, the further you are from the centre, I believe that the more you'd be leaning to. Do you know what I mean? You'd be leaning, and obviously that doesn't happen.
You'd
I
be
just
struggling
put,
uphill.
Exactly,
basically.
exactly.
I just put Veritasium's video in the chat. So.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
And
so that's
also,
why they don't
gravity's
like
not-
gravity, Mitch.
Not
See,
mentioned in the
I'll
gravity is
also
an
put-
emergent force. It's
I'll
not
also-
actually a force,
Yes, sir.
but it can be, for all intents and purposes, treated as a force.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a question for the panel about gravity then. Is gravity greater the closer you get to the center of the Earth?
No.
No, it shouldn't be.
No, because if eventually you'll have also more mass above you.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
None
So
above you, yeah,
If
absolutely,
the Earth,
yeah.
if the Earth was
Now, the
had a
close-
hollow area, I presume then in effect you would be able to float in the middle.
Well,
Yeah,
if you're-
there is
if-
no
if-
gravity in the middle.
If you are in space and you get closer to the Earth, then yes, you would feel more gravitational forces up to a certain point of when you're standing on the surface of the Earth. Then all gravity would be neutral, basically.
Yes, because there's this counteractive amount pulling you the other way above you.
Yeah, yeah.
What pretty much cinches it is that gravity is a squared function, right? It actually increases as we go. So that's why this idea that the flat Earth is somehow accelerating upwards at 9.8 meters per second squared is untenable. Because since the beginning of time, we would be moving
faster than
you know,
light.
opposite
The speed of light, yeah.
speed of light.
Exactly.
That.
Then
So-
and then of course, even if you put that forward as a real thing, okay, the flat disk of the Earth is accelerating upwards. Then what about the Moon and the Sun, which are supposedly above us? How do they maintain a distance?
They're traveling at the same rate.
And what makes
But
them
then,
go
if
round?
they're travelling at the same rate, the same force should be pushing them up. So, therefore, things like planes and that should just be able to float.
Well, actually, if okay, think about if the flat Earth is true, if it is going to be pushed up like that, then wouldn't the airplane, as soon as it take off, just smack into the Earth?
Well, but this is the point. But like the Moon would
I'm
be.
talking about if you.
It just
you
doesn't
follow
work,
the
does it? Why
No,
are we
no,
even
because
talking
if you
about
follow-
this?
No,
you
no,
follow-
an aircraft wouldn't smash into the Earth by taking off because it leaves from that reference frame and it carries the inertia of that object with it from a starting stance, just like it does on the rotation of the Earth.
There, you just proved spherical Earth. You just proved ball Earth. I mean, there you go. Just proved the Earth is a sphere.
Oh
From a
my
flat-
goodness,
flat Earth
multi Tom Tom,
standpoint.
Multi Tom Tom says Riley, as in Anthony, is a real scientist. Right,
Oh my god.
Multi Tom Tom, a real scientist would not have, in his egg experiment, would not have used a TDS meter and claimed it measures density in units of something, whatever it is. I don't know. It could be unicorn farts for all I care. He didn't even know what instrument he was using.
You don't know what it means, and it's not relevant. Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, and real scientists don't pin a bottle and publish it online.
He did test. Oh dear.
Well, I think Tom Tom
no,
has actually
Tom Tom.
won with joke of the night. Tom Tom, honestly, no matter what else, we can guarantee you, Anthony Riley is no scientist.
And
I
real
think
scientists don't peer review. They don't peer review their own articles.
Doesn't that statement qualify him for dumb flirt of the year?
Might do. Oh,
I
and he
think so.
loves Tony. Oh, and that's
Riley
sweet.
is a scientist. He's a freaking taxi driver.
Tom Tom,
He's
why?
not even a good taxi driver. He got arrested for that.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yes.
know. He's not even a good taxi driver.
Yes, he claimed that he didn't need whatever licensing because he owned the company or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
See, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm afraid, Tom Tom, that you have gone down in my estimation somewhat. If that was a possibility, but you have. If you really think that Tony is a scientist.
Okay.
Tom Tom hit
just
rock
a
bottom and he's got the
slight
jackhammer out and
increase in
started digging.
density.
Could it be possible that he was joking because that was a darn good joke?
It could be. But he did add that he loves Tony.
Yeah.
You know, you can send him flowers online. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
I'd
Mighty
rather,
Quinn says
I
he's a sovereign citizen. Who? Tony or Tom Tom?
Oh, God. He's a sovereign citizen. Seriously. God.
Well, if you think you know the law better than the law, then probably you are.
Yeah.
And actually, of course, Riley did submit a thesis, didn't he? But we've never heard anything else back about that.
Did you ever read it?
I did have a look at it. Yeah.
He submitted a thesis and he peer reviewed it by himself.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, that counts then, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he threw it out as rubbish.
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Riley's jumped on that. Our rights are being taken away because of the virus. What it is, Globomom, is he's realising flat Earth is dying. Flat Earth is dead. It's an X theory.
dead.
It has ceased to be. If he hadn't nailed it to the perch, he'd be pushing up the daisies. David Oliver super chatted £5. Thank you, David, again. The Earth gets heavier, thus increases in mass over time due to meteorites, space dust, debris, etc. hitting the Earth. How does this happen with a dome?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true because gravity will increase over time, but that's over millions and millions and millions of years.
And who cleans the dome? It's always quite sparkly
that's
out there
true.
for me.
That's true. Maybe it's like a
That's my
domba.
job.
A domba. Like you get a Roomba. You have a domba.
Yeah.
What's the term? Translucent as well as what's the word for me? You can go through it. I can't think of the word right now. I suck.
You do.
No, you have every sympathy from me because I'm like that. I forget the words for things.
I started to say something. I'm like, wait, what's the word? Oh, crap.
Don't you just hate it when it goes out of your head like that?
Yeah, but then if you actually sit there and wait till the word comes, you find a conversation has moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's completely
It's like,
irrelevant.
that word I was thinking about. That word I was thinking about 5 hours ago.
Oh, I just had a super chat from Frederick Sigard, a very, very long time patron, for 20 Canadian dollars. Thank you, Frederick, for MAGE II. Really appreciate that. Keep your eye out because it won't be too far off. Weather permitting, it won't be too far off. Cheers.
If you can let me have the spot frequency, Mr. Sensible,
I'm afraid
for
I
the
can't.
telemetry.
No, I'm afraid I
Well,
can't.
can you get it? Can you get it off of Q?
No, as in we won't be releasing it.
Oh, I know it's in the 430 megahertz.
Yeah, but
band,
I can't for reasons.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I understand, but it's the rules we're having to operate under, and I'll have to leave it
Well,
at that.
fair enough,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have, somebody independent to corroborate your telemetry. But anyway,
Yeah, well, I presume, in a way, it can be. We could keep that evidence to prove that it has been measured by others. And I don't know. The reason is, the reason is several fold actually.
Intangible.
Sorry?
Intangible. Intangible. That was the word.
Oh, I see. There we go. Totally out of context.
Staircase
there's several reasons. One is we don't want other people tracking it and perhaps trying to block the signal or beat us to MAGE. But there's other reasons as well, because it's giving GPS positioning, and some of that information needs to be withheld. So we can't do
fair
it.
enough. No,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I've got
I
another
appreciate
super
that.
chat from Brainless 2NL for €5. Thank you, Brainless. Just because I like your videos and the live stream, smiley face. Well, thank you, Brainless. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you.
You're welcome.
Hey. Oh, I think 2 streams ago we were talking about super chats, and I don't know if you could send a super chat to yourself, and I tried and I succeeded. I told Mrs. S and I got told off for wasting my money. Oh dear. Yes, Isa, the sky stones, the blue stones that were supposedly part of the dome, that are about 95% oxygen. I've seen those before. Sky ice.
Yes, I've seen that as well. Yeah.
Aren't most rocks made out of almost all oxygen anyway?
Don't know.
Most rocks are comprised of at least 80% oxygen. So sky rocks are BS. Yeah.
I think they talked about crushing a rock down and it virtually turned to nothing. I don't know.
That'll happen with almost any rock.
Well, I suppose so. Yeah.
Crush it down hard enough, it's just going to be nothing but powder. I mean,
bit like the flat Earth, really. Crushed down, and there's hardly anything left. I mean, what are we left with? We're left with Nathan ranting Oakley and his Simon Dan Lovin. We've got Multi Tom Tom desperate for an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Neil's chickening out. And that's about it now. Oh, and Mr. Anthony I'm a Scientist Riley, who's now talking about sovereign citizen stuff.
Great, that's something else we can go after with the black side.
Oh, some news. I don't remember. A couple of weeks back, I did a video about that mentioned Mark Steele getting arrested, and Lee Sir Robin. What's his surname? Lee Sir Robin Garrett. I think it was Garrett. Well, apparently Lee Sir Robin has had his YouTube channel taken away from him by YouTube for breaching YouTube terms.
What a shame.
Yes, and he bravely ran away. Yes.
Sir Robin ran away, bravely ran away.
Yes, he bravely turned his tail and fled. Yes, so that doesn't leave us with much, apart from the guy I found the other day. I shot the video tonight. I've got to edit it tomorrow. Yes, it was Garrett. Thank you, Neil. Edit it tomorrow, and that'll probably come out. What day is it today? Tuesday. Probably come out Thursday. The guy who's going to debunk all of modern astronomy.
Wow. We look forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, David Oliver mentioned Clapperjack. Clapperjack was a guy who I did a bit of a video with a long time ago. Really, really nice guy from Belarus. And Colon, could you drop the link? He's in. Is it Pub Chat on Friday? I'm not sure. Colon, if you can drop the link about it, because we want to give him a shout out, because he deserves it. He's an excellent creator. For reasons he's not been able to do much recently. Nice guy. And wanted to give him a shout out. Me and Colon were talking about it before the stream, and I asked Colon to remind me. So, Colon, can you remind me? Oh, yeah. How about that? I remembered the sound. For me, I remembered the sound for the panel. And I remembered the shout out for Clapperjack. We're professional here. Come on, Colon, where's that link, man? He'll get it. He'll get it. Actually, I might have the details about it. Let's see if it's pub chat. Clapperjack's going to be on. And he's got a new video. Yes, I was arrested and put in prison. Is his video? Let me just.
Oh, great.
Yeah, well, he was. He's from Belarus. So I've not had the chance. Oh, there we go. Colon, he was posting it earlier. And since I just got it as well, I'll post it. So please, people, check that out. That country's got some big problems. I've not, as I said, I've not had a chance to see the video yet. It's a longer video, if I recall. It's about 40 minutes, telling the story of what's happened. I believe 43 minutes, not 42. He should have cut it to 42.
43 minutes and 5 seconds.
But he's such a nice guy. And I love his editing. Yeah. It's worth a watch. Yeah, because he had done an Anthony Steele one originally that he asked me to submit some bits to, which I did. And he put together an excellent video, which I gave. I don't recall if I mirrored it or gave it a shout out. But it's really good. And what was particularly pleasing was the amount of background research he'd done. He identified sites where things were happening, and it was a really good video. So do check his back catalogue as well. Mitch Goldstein's just super chatted 2 of his finest US dollars. Thank you, Mitch. Saying, we love you, Mr. Sensible. Gravity rocks. Doesn't it just? Oh, gravity sucks.
And let's see if anybody got a quickie trivia question. If anybody knows the answer, who is on the American $2 bill?
Whoever knows that.
I didn't even know if there was a $2 bill. Is there a $2 bill?
I've ran across a couple in my life, but I don't know.
Yep. There is a $2 bill. I have one in my wallet right now. Chris,
I'm proud that I don't know it. I'm proud that I don't know it.
Proud? Why? Why are you proud you don't know it?
Why? Why do I need to know about freedom money?
It's not freedom money, it's monopoly money.
I'm proud to know things,
I know.
whatever those things are.
I'll take a wild guess. Seeing as he's not on any other bill, Thomas Jefferson, perhaps.
that is correct.
Wow.
All right, guy.
Okay.
What's on the back?
The
No,
back of his
that I
head.
couldn't tell you.
Bob Nodell.
All right, you got it. Yay.
Thanks, Bob.
About
That's
Super
off the bill.
Doodle.
Oh dear.
Actually, the $2 bill is a one-sided bill. That was a trick question.
Is it really? This, I mean,
No, it isn't. Every bill's got a back.
oh dear. We see, I'm not allowed to handle money. I get paid. It goes in. Mrs. S does not allow me to have money.
I just
You know,
I have $20 bill in my pocket. So
I heard
talking.
some alarming news. I heard some alarming news the other day. Journalism has procreated.
Oh, no.
I'm afraid so. Yeah.
Interesting.
aren't there enough demons on Earth?
Ask Orb.
Hey.
Journalism must have accidentally fallen into someone to impregnate them. Because
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
don't what is it? Don't visit the sons of the father, the sins of the father on the son. There
No,
you go.
that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
true.
I suppose after they got done, Jeranism turned around and said, "Interesting."
I can already say probably around 13, 14 years from now, that kid's going to be really embarrassed because of his father.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it would take that long.
You've got to fall for that kid, haven't you?
Prepaid.
Probably
mental
after 5 or 6 years. Probably 5 or 6 years. I'll give it 6 years.
Yeah. But
I can think of
there
someone
is a-
worse to
there's
have
still
as. I can think of someone worse to have as a father, though. Nathan Oakley.
Yep.
No. I can think of someone even worse. Nathan Thompson.
Oh. Or Quantum Eraser. I mean, imagine having that as a
Oh.
father.
Oh God.
Imagine waking up
No.
next to Quantum Eraser.
I can't think of anyone worse than questionable
Well-
entertainment.
Oh my
Well,
god.
if you have Dell as a father, then you've got two problems. Your dad's a dick, and nobody can understand a word of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I love the way Brainless says it as it is.
Slim Living Cyborg says a human can't get an animal pregnant. Oh, I see. You're talking about Geronism, are you?
So his wife was cheating on
Oh,
him.
he's-
That's what it is.
He's probably talking about Creaky.
Freaky.
Oh, it would be multi
Yeah.
multi
Well, see, I could-
multi Tom Tom would be on the 2-cent bill.
Hey,
Oh,
good
dear.
boy, what's it like?
Right there.
Well, see, Creaky doesn't have an accent, though. I mean, I
No.
don't know what everybody talks about about him having an accent. I
No, he
mean,
doesn't have an accent, but I don't understand why no one
No,
can understand
definitely.
what he says.
Did you see Cricky's video tonight? The one about the targeted citizens.
Yeah.
The what, citizens?
Targeted.
By what? What's that about?
Targeted by they and them.
gave me another
Yeah.
video I've got to watch.
Yes, I'll have to watch it.
Let me try and find it for you.
It's sad. That's just sad.
Well, the thing is, I used to know a guy who was convinced that he was targeted by they and them, and was having thoughts put into his head by satellites and things in magazines, things on the news reports, things on the weather report,
The thing
etc.,
is
etc.
I've got to be honest. Well, I'm going to say I wouldn't tackle that because that very much is a mental health
yes
symptom.
It's called schizophrenia.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my friend threw himself off of a 500-foot cliff.
Yeah.
I can tell you this as a schizophrenic, someone who is, does suffer with that condition. If it weren't for my medicine right now, I probably would be just that insane myself. But, well, not really insane. Well, yeah, it is insane.
I know what you mean, Chris.
Definition of insanity.
The thing is, it's real. When you think about it, our brain is just processing signals. If it's generating its own signals, they're just as real to the person who's experiencing them. And I was thinking about this a while back. When you, if you're asleep and you're sort of coming awake, you're still half asleep and part in a dream or whatever, and your partner or whatever talks to you, and you'll start be talking rubbish because it's sort of half up with you, half caught in your dream, but it's absolutely real. To me, it's a similar sort of thing. At that time, when you're half awake and the person you're talking to doesn't understand you, but of course the carrots have got to go to school or whatever the hell rubbish it is you're talking, it's real to you at the time. It's absolutely real. So, those people who get that, it is a mental health thing, and I personally wouldn't tackle it because I have, not personally, but I have knowledge of people who do suffer with that, and it's a very real thing. And it's not people being stupid by not looking at evidence and whatever. It's people who are genuinely suffering. And as you said, it can be controlled by meds.
With me,
Yeah, but even if it's not.
I get the worst of it because I have both tactile, visual, and auditory hallucinations, and I still, even with my medicine, sometimes get hallucinations, but they're just not. I can actually differentiate them in my head to say, okay, I know that's not real.
Yeah.
I should not be seeing that. Just ignore it, which is what I do. What my therapist told me to do. Said if you see something that's out of place, just ignore it, and eventually it'll go away. But yeah, it's the tactile is really the worst because
I'd never heard of that. I had no idea you could get a tactile hallucination. Wow.
Yeah, tactile
But
is
it,
whenever
but
you
it
can feel
doesn't go
things.
away.
Tactile hallucinations do not go away.
No,
Visual
they don't.
hallucinations, visual and auditory will go away eventually if you're good and you meditate correctly and everything. It'll go away, but tactile does not, and it is one of the worst because you'll feel like bugs are crawling on your skin, and
Mm.
sometimes crawling, and sometimes burrowing under your skin, and it feels like they're literally inside like your arm and crawling up, and it's like there's nothing there, but it feels like it's there, and it's really disconcerting.
So if you get that Christmas, the feeling of bugs crawling up in your arm, and you're looking at your arm, you can see there's no distortions, or whatever,
Yeah,
and you know in yourself that this is just a hallucination. How easy is it to say, right? So I'll ignore that because I know it's not real.
it's not,
I
not
bet
at
it's
all.
not.
You can't ignore it. It's just there, and most of the time it happens on my legs. Generally, sometimes it'll happen on my arm, but more often than not, it's on my legs, and I will sit there and like make sure there's nothing on my leg. And
Yeah.
it's like it
So
still feels it's crawling there. It feels like
it,
something's
it
crawling there, but yeah,
it's real to you, Charisma. It's happening, yeah.
yeah, very much so. Yeah,
But do you know in yourself that this is not happening?
yeah. Generally, yeah. I know. Whenever like I'll see a pair of eyes or something in the darkness, that it's not actually there. It's scary as hell.
How
It can
how do
it
you
can get scary as hell, but
how do you deal with that? How do you how do you reconcile that?
what
Well,
do you mean?
well,
I just
Well, you've got the things crawling at your legs, but you know it's not real.
well.
How
I
Actually,
do
just deal
you
with it.
you
how
think
do you
about it,
deal
Gary.
with that?
I presume, Gary, you're sat in a chair.
Yes,
Okay, you can feel that chair. You can see that chair.
I can.
Right, that chair isn't real. Ignore it. You're right. How?
Yeah,
It's
it's
absolutely real
hard.
to you.
It's hard.
I'm just going to jump in. Channel Right's just super chatted £2. Thank you, Channel Right. Saying good evening, enjoying the show. Thank you. And as you can tell, it's just moved to a serious level, which is great. We're always open to discussing everything. Yeah. How would you ignore that chair you're sitting on? Because you know it's not real. It's just in your head. But I can see it. I can feel it.
But that's the thing that I can't get my
Yeah,
head around. I
it's
know
tough.
this chair is real because I bought the damn thing and I'm sitting in it.
Yeah, but that's a bit different. But you
I
know,
can touch it. But when you've got worms crawling up your legs or up your arms, how do you know that that's not real? And how do you deal with that? How do you
Well, I generally know what's going on in my head already, so I already know it's not real. It's hard to reconcile that sometimes because it feels real, it feels genuine, but I know it's not there because I can look down and see there's nothing there, and it's like,
does
why is
your
my leg itching?
does the tactile ever coincide with the visual? Okay, maybe not bugs or whatever inside, but if there was
Back whenever I was hallucinating on had what not auditory but visual hallucinations, they would sometimes coincide, and I would be brushing the fake insects off. They would fly off, but the feeling would still be there sometimes. So it's weird, I
yeah
know, but it's just what happens whenever you're schizophrenic.
yeah.
do you know it's not real though?
Yeah, I know
Does your
it's
common
not real.
sense tell you it's not real?
But I suppose you know what happens. You know in quote real life you're not going to have bugs crawling in your arms. So if you feel that, you stand a chance of realising it's
Yeah.
not real. Whereas the chair, well, you come across hundreds of chairs. You know that they're chairs.
Yeah.
You know people sit in chairs. So if you're being told this chair doesn't really exist, that's going to be a lot harder to accept, I'd have thought, or at least to realise. But yeah, if you can
But
feel it,
my thing is usually with visual hallucination, it's well, at least when I was off of medicine, I would visualize people, like real, honest to God, living people, and I would have conversations with them in my, out loud.
yeah,
And someone would because I was living with my mom at the time, because I had to be under strict supervision, which I don't anymore. My therapist has released me and let me live on my own. So I don't have anyone around me right now. But back when I was living with my mom, she would enter the room and I'd be having a conversation with like nobody, and
Yeah.
she was like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'm like, and I would suddenly like snap out of it. There's nobody here. I'm like, I'm scared.
Oh, I'll
Yeah.
just say thank
Yeah.
you, Colon. Good night to you. So, Chris, when you said talking to someone in Magic, was it always the same person, stroke entity, or would it change?
There were several of them actually.
So the same person,
People.
uh,
People.
at
Yeah.
a later date could come back again.
Yeah.
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 See, I mean, what I've experienced is nothing like that. But I've been in the office and just heard. I nearly said my name then. Heard someone say, "Mr. Sensible," and I've looked round and realised there's no, that everyone's busy doing their stuff. No one said that, but I heard that, and it was real enough to make me look around.
Sometimes your brain will intercept signals like that. When intercept signals is the wrong term for it. It's something that's happening in your brain, and it basically intercepts the wrong signal somewhere in your brain, and it'll make you think you heard your name,
Yeah.
but it's just something that's going on in your head that you don't realize is going on. And yeah, I mean, I get that all the time. I get, hearing my name in the, my head all the time.
Yeah.
Someone calling me, especially from people who are dead, and that kind of is freaky, but I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I have experienced that, and to be honest, quite frequently. Sometimes you can put it that well. There's a lot of background noise, and I just heard something that I mistook as my name. Other times it's not.
Yeah.
And
the hardest thing that I have is I'll have a big event, what I call big event, auditory hallucination, where I will hear songs going on in my head. Like you know how you'll have a song stuck in your head?
Yeah.
I will hear it out loud, and it sounds like deafening sometimes. And it's a song that doesn't exist. That's something that my brain made up itself. And
Any good songs?
That is the worst thing. Yeah, they're good songs, but they repeat themselves over and over and over again on a loop, and it kind of drives you a little bit crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris,
there's at least one song that I've heard in my head that I've written into a composed song. And every time I hear that song, it reminds me, and I hear that same tune frequently in a dream state, like if I'm dreaming or just about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Well, Anu Abyss says that their father spoke to them, and Tony Regime says he often hears music that isn't there. I mean, I get the earworm, isn't that what they call it, earworm? But that's a real song that I've heard, or maybe years ago, and I just start humming it or whatever inside my head, and you can't get rid of it. Listen, Chris, I would like to thank you most honestly and deeply for sharing what you shared tonight.
No problem, man. I'm always welcome, always willing to share.
Yeah,
even
but
if I share too much.
No,
share too much
not a problem.
No.
I think it's absolutely fascinating, and big respect for talking about it like this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very big of you to share that with us.
The big thing is
Definitely.
hardly anyone talks about it, so it
Yeah.
rarely gets normalized. And that is something that needs to be normalized. It really does, because they look at schizophrenia and they think, "Oh, you're just crazy. You're insane." I'm like, no, not everyone with schizophrenia is like that. Some of the most normal people you'll meet probably has some mental health problem.
Yeah.
And mine was brought on because of several heat strokes I had, causing my brain chemistry to get fried, basically. And yeah, because heat stroke is basically your brain getting boiled in your skull.
Because it's all processed electrical signals. So it could be a misbalance in chemicals, which is what the drugs, I think, are designed to rebalance. Because it's that's what I like I said, I have experience of it, not with me, but with other people who I know, and it's absolutely real to them. So I've liked this opportunity to talk about it, and it's good to get this sort of thing out. As you say, a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
don't know because they've got no experience of it. And when
It's
I've had the
also-
opportunity, I've pointed out to people is how absolutely real it is. You know, if you get that signal that is apparently from your ears saying that there is this sound happening, then that is how your brain will treat it. It's absolutely real.
Yeah.
Yeah, thing is with that kind of mental illness, it's rarely ever what's the word actually it's usually genetic, but it can be acquired through like any brain damage whatsoever you get.
Yeah.
It can be caused by brain damage as well, which I hate to say that's what I had. I had brain damage. It's essentially. I would not have this if it weren't for the heat strokes I had.
Right. And people hear the term brain damage and think that means you're damaged so that your intellect is low, but that's not necessarily the case. It just means it's just not working or processing in the same way as other people. I mean,
But yeah. Brain damage is not, it doesn't always mean a lowering of intellect. It
No.
just means that you suffered this damage. It's just like if I broke a bone or something. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've even heard of someone who accidentally shot himself with a shotgun and blew off half of his brain, but he's still intelligent. You know, the only thing that he actually lost was his empathy and that those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So that's an extreme form of brain damage then, but it doesn't mean that you'll turn stupid. Depends on
absolutely.
what part of the brain is damaged.
And Tom
Some of the
Walburn,
In what way?
well, Tom Walburn's just said in side chat, COVID patients who are heavily medicated, it was the ones who were kept on in a coma, intubated, having hospital delirium for weeks after returning home, getting burned alive, arms cut off, eyes removed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, some of the most intelligent people I know are either schizophrenic or bipolar or have some sort of mental health problem. I mean, it's like whenever I was going to a therapist, well, I'd still go to a therapist. So I just do it over the phone. One of my therapists actually told me that I was the most intelligent person he had ever met, and usually the people he dealt with were kind of on the dull side. Pardon that.
I would say probably the most intelligent people that I've met in my life are definitely somewhere on what we would call the autism spectrum. That's absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
That's true.
I'm on the spectrum myself, so yeah.
Yeah, me too.
There's always that.
So that's proof that not everybody on the spectrum is smart.
Yeah, not everybody on the spectrum
I've got
is smart either.
traits of Asperger's or Asperger's, depending how you say it. Traits thereof. And I actually, because I'm aware of it, I actually use that to my advantage. I can very much concentrate on something and massively concentrate and learn and practice and get good at something. I find that, like my Land Rover that I built, I'd never done more than very basic servicing on a car. Decided I want to rebuild it. How do I do it? So I just found out, and it took me 2 years of all my spare time to do it. But I did it because I was quite happy to dedicate myself to it. Because
with me,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I'm aware of it, and it helps me in my work as well. I'm dealing now. I don't tend to be a very social person, which is why Mrs. S is astonished that I do this and I chat with you guys. Because in real life, I don't tend to do it. I don't go down and hang around with pubs, hang around down a pub. I haven't got lots of friends that I hang around with, mates. I just don't do it because I don't need it. I have an interest. I develop that interest, and this YouTube channel is it right now, and I'm fine with that.
That's the same way. That's actually exactly the same way I am. I'm very a socially distant person, and I can't stand going out in groups like more than 2 or 3 people.
Yeah. Well,
And I
I
never
could go
go out
to.
myself. I have.
I can go round to
It
someone's
depends
house
on the
for.
people.
I can go round to someone's house for a chat or whatever with Mrs. Sensible, and that's absolutely fine. But after half an hour, we're done. We talked about everything. Can we go now?
Yeah. I also had social anxiety problems, meaning I get panic attacks really easily. So I can't even, go out like to a restaurant or something if there's too many people there. So I'm like, I'd rather stay home.
And
just
yet,
be-"
Chrisma, you're talking with 7 of us on the panel, and right now 100 people watching.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You know, I was wondering, how many of those people watching have hit the like button? And how many of
Yeah,
those
how
people
many?
who are watching are not subscribed to this channel? So isn't that a
Yeah,
fascinating
yeah.
extension?
Neil Sullivan said, "Have I ever thought of doing stand-up comedy?" What are you laughing at, Julie? I heard
Keep
her.
your day job, Mr. Sensible, or a night job in this case.
Because I mean, back to the social anxiety thing though,
Mm.
is the fact that me on Cipher and Philosopher of Nonsense, I was like, I didn't know about it at first, thinking, about, doing a live stream every, Saturday night at 9:30 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time with NASA Black Site Area 69. I didn't know about doing that at first, but then whenever I started doing it, I was like, yeah, I could do this. I could actually, talk to people and do this. And I'm like, oh, this is actually really fun. So I'm
It
like,
is
yeah,
fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah, that's actually when I started joining your chat too, your voice
Good.
chat too. So
Yeah, with me, it kind of happened the same way. I was always kind of lurking in the side chat, and at
Yeah.
one point I started joining in some games, and then they say, "Ah, come in the voice chat." And like, oh, we're all not that social, so if we can do it, you can do it. And then I thought, I tried it once, and I've kind of become addicted to it.
We're heading off for dinner. Good night, everybody. Great talking to you again.
Yeah, you
Good
take
luck
care,
with
Mitch.
Have a nice meal.
Bye, Julie.
Yeah, not Mitch. Have a good one.
H2, baby. Gonna happen.
Well, at this point, and I'll tell you what, Chrisma, that's honestly, it's been phenomenal talking about this. It really has. So thank you
No
again,
problem, man.
and I see the nice comments in the chat thanking you for sharing.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
nice.
actually have the largest smile on my face right now.
Good. Well, I'm glad if it if that has helped you sort of talk about some of that stuff. Great. But it's now just coming up 12:15, and I'm trying to get myself into days, so I'm going to be up at a normal time tomorrow. So at this point, I'm going to call it a night, and I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. So that's the people in the side chat, those who have super chatted, the members, the patrons, and because this is MAGE, the sponsors, Bob the Science Guy, Arctic Haze, and Just Shoot Me. Thanks for the sponsorship for MAGE II. Keep an eye out. As I said, there's a video out a couple of days ago with a guy who's going to debunk all of modern astronomy, allegedly.
Yes,
Yeah.
I look forward to that one.
Yes, I had a
Yeah.
little bit of fun with it. And guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Those who are still here and those who have gone, it's been great, really good. And I will get in contact with Bletchley Park. There seems to be enough interest. Oh, yeah, I probably would have gone anyway, but it seems to be enough interest in trying to put a video together. Because it's a fascinating subject. Guys, thank you very much.
Certainly tap me up, Mr. Sensible. I'm quite well versed in the old Bletchley Park stuff,
So I gather you have got to get up here, Gary, and have a visit of Bletchley Park. You'll love it. Honestly, you'll love it.
I would love it. I would love it. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Good night. I'll move you guys over to the live waiting room, and I'll pop in and say good night in a minute. So thank you, Brainless. Thank you, Charisma. And we've got Demon Orb there. Thank you very much. And last but not least, Gary. Cheers, mate.
No worries.
So, everybody, a great night covering all sorts of things from crypto analysis through to cheese, through to mental health problems, MAGE, of course. Really, really enjoyed it, as I always do. It's been great. Look forward to seeing you all soon, and I can't wait. I really cannot wait until MAGE. Until next time, stay sensible. I've got to find a button now. Good night.